Tartaria, a location that we are shown on maps that predate our current civilization. Tartaria, a location that has been kept quiet from all of us within the education systems all over the world. A location that we can clearly see is Russia on a modern day map, with a population of around 4 million people today. Located within Russia's walls, there is a location today that is called Tatarstan, officially the Republic of Tatarstan, and sometimes called Tartaria, where they just removed the R. And this is just the beginning. Wait until you see what is still standing in this location today. But first, I think that their coat of arms needs to be exposed. We know that Tartaria's flag depicted a griffin. We can zoom in here on it and get a better look. As we go back to the historical coat of arms of this location of Tatarstan, we see their seal from 1672, and of course, changed to this in 1856. And once 1920 hit, the process of removing the old world, the previous civilization, was in full swing. And this became their new seal, showing their hammers and chisels and a logo that some will recognize very well. A takeover worldwide, the Republic of Tatarstan with their griffin seal. It's very interesting. It is a part of the Volga Federal District, which we have discussed in previous episodes. Now I'm going to drop the guy down in their city. We clearly have homes that are found from the old world and are being repurposed. We have the old brick being exposed, as we obviously don't properly maintain these structures. Flipping this camera view around, we can see that the windows are down here by the ground. I believe that these houses are much deeper under the mud. These houses are over the top, all the way down the street. These people, us, we were placed into the old world's work and are just occupying it there. Could you even imagine how incredible this area once looked? And remember, this is just one road. Just wait until you see the rest. Let's continue down the road, and you can see, fenced off here, we have an old world structure that has gotten a new paint job clearly. This is the Nicholas Cathedral, with a historical narrative showing that there was, of course, a previous church here on this site, telling us that in 1565, there once stood a wooden church. 1565, knowing the exact date of the wooden church, telling us that the current temple, judging by its architectural forms and decor, was maybe built in the middle of the 17th century. Please tell me how they know the exact date of a church that isn't there, a wooden church. And they don't know the date of the current church. It is complete nonsense in my opinion. A very bad lie, showing that the truth is not being told to us about this location. And this is when we go deeper. If I just knock my house down and I build a new one, and then 500 years from now, like we're being told, they know the exact date that my first house was built, but not the second one. So I need some feedback here. Are we all on the same page that this is insane? Let me know in the comments. So we're just getting started here. I want to show you this location. You can see how old everything is. And hiding behind this tree, we have the St. Peter and Paul Cathedral, located in Kazan, the capital of the Russian Republic of Tatarstan. They give us this long story about how the emperor arrived after mastering the sea, celebrating his 50th birthday with the guys, having a 3-day feast, having such a great time. Might as well build a cathedral while we're at it, to honor this event. Why not? So the cathedral, of course, had a prior cathedral, because these stories are clearly written by an AI, and I think we can confidently say that at this point. All over the world, we get the same structural narrative. So they knock out the cathedral in just 4 years. in the early 1700s, and the computer cannot forget to throw the destruction story right into the narrative. When shortly after the building was done, it suddenly collapsed. So, of course, being the guy that he is, the Tsar sent his own craftsmen and architects to complete the cathedral. We have no idea where any of the materials came from. We have no clue who these men were. We have no idea who the architects were, and they will forever be a mystery. But I'm just so thankful that we know all about the 50th birthday party they had and the 3-day feast. That kind of information just distracts me. I love it when they throw the backstories in there, so I never have to focus on who actually builds the palaces. No. To prove that this is a worldwide operation, and this is an AI-generated story, to trick all of us into thinking that this structure isn't from the previous civilization. We get the nod. Yet Peter and Paul Cathedral has seen its share of tragic events, including numerous fires. If you don't understand how ChatGPT operates, I will show you right now. All I need to do is put the basic things that I want in there. Remember, if I can do this, then just imagine what can be done. All we have to do is tell the AI basic things that we all need in the story. I wrote that we need a hypothetical narrative about a cathedral. I need construction dates that lasted 4 years. I need a destruction story because they all have one, with a savior. And I need a fire story, of course. And the cathedral manages to recover every time. Just like we are shown here, where the cathedral manages to recover every time and retain its former beauty. Place this time period in the 1700s and make it 4 paragraphs. This is how fast our history can be written. And this is how fast a population worldwide can be tricked and manipulated. This technology is not new. And we are now learning this and exposing it to the world. That the narrative that we are all shown in classrooms from day one is, in my opinion, all created just like this. In the early 1700s, the Grand Cathedral began its construction in the heart of a bustling European city, where the townspeople marveled at the design. Construction lasted from 1703 to 1707. Tragedy struck just 5 years later, just like we see every single time in these narratives, when a violent storm comes through and lightning hits the tallest spire, another nod that we always see. Remember, repetition gives it all away. The system doesn't know any other way. It's not a human. It even gives us a fake character that could now be used for so many other structures in the area. Fixed the place in 1715, and just 16 years later, a fire broke out. It's literally the exact same narrative that we read all over the world, with structures that look so out of place. I want to show you the inside of this St. Peter and Paul Cathedral that we were just talking about. What do you think? Hammers and chisels? Or advanced technology that we aren't being told about? Kazan, the city in Tatarstan. This may be the location that we have all been searching for. It is, at the very minimum, in my opinion, one of the main locations that Tartaria was active. I have said this many times. I believe that this previous civilization, the advanced group of humans, I believe that they were here only a few hundred years ago, and a mass event wiped them all out, with their buildings sitting right here in front of all of our faces and getting a brand new coat of paint on them with brand new narratives and looking so out of place. The Kazan Kremlin includes many old buildings. It is a fortified citadel containing museums and sacred sites. You can see that we are looking at a very important location for this research. We can make an educated guess at this point that this is not everything, and some structures have been removed. This city is filled with griffins. It's basically Griffin Central, or in other words, the center of Tartaria. Kazan, a very interesting place for sure, with Khan's Mosque located within the walls. Some scholars believe that the tower may date back further than the 18th century. This is an admission that they don't know who created this tower, a tower that we know here was created by the previous civilization. This is clear exposure here, if you know what you're looking for. With the legend saying that the tower, that lasts forever, was built by Ivan the Terrible in just 1 week. 1 week! And this thing's here forever. And the tower's construction date is enshrouded in mystery. Are you having fun yet? Can you see that we are correct? Can you see that the truth about where we live is coming? Once you know the truth, that the history that we are all told is not factual information, you can never unsee it. This is incredible. They have no idea who built this. I think they do know who built that. Grand Tartaria. Have we located their central base? A location that scholars won't touch. They won't even pretend to know who created that structure. It's amazing. Now that we've struck gold, let's keep going. Oh, and the tower used to be topped with a griffin. Oh, I mean, double-headed eagle, and was replaced by our civilization. Take a look at this place. This is the headquarters of Donkeys Incorporated /DonkeysInc.com, where they went viral in suite number 3. I want to show you all around a little with a great shot of Donkeys Inc. The horsepower of a steam engine with those wooden wheels and all. We can also see a finder, or a founder, right over here to the right. And of course, the dragon on the side of their helicopter. It's just there for show, of course. All of this built by a population of nobody. 1897, we only had 130,000 people here. Could you even imagine 1800 or 1700? The streets would be empty. Yet we're told, within our mainstream narrative, that nobody constructed palace after palace. And we all just accepted it for years. Where that all ends now. Remember that in 1750, nobody was even here in this location. You can just drop the guy down anywhere in this city. Doesn't matter. You can just throw the guy down in this back alley. You can just swing the camera angle around here. And what do you know? Another old world palace pops up. This is the Epiphany Tower. Just take a look at the brickwork on this one. I wish my town would give me one of these. And remember that all of these buildings are just the top. They're just what we can see. They all, most likely, are all interconnected through underground tunnel networks and structures. We've seen this all over the world. And if they're doing it in Chicago, then you know that they're definitely doing it here. It's incredible. It's palace after palace here. You can even see another one behind it. And this building still has its old world bells. In fact, the bells are in nearly every one of these buildings. And what do you guys think of this thing? The Kazan Family Center /Viewpoint. Where? That's gotta be renamed. It has all kinds of different statues surrounding it, where we all know that this is just art. There weren't actually dragons and griffins. Wait, right? And then of course there's more art of the mainstream mythical creatures all over this thing. I do believe that this is depicting our past. What used to be here? Well, this is just one city, located within the Republic of Tatarstan, obviously. There's going to be a lot more that we expose in the upcoming episodes. I feel like this location deserves a lot more attention, including the city of Bulgar, with a population of only 8,000 people in 2010. They, of course, get a palace. And I'm not making fun of anybody. I never will. I'm just showing how people in this town live today. We build huts in 2024, yet in the same exact town. This is here. The amount of evolving and advancing going on is -1,000. We are going backwards. So we have the town right here. And now I'm personally convinced after this that we have found modern day Tartaria and we are going to expose everything in this region. I'm going to go down this road here, and we can continue back on this location, this region, in upcoming episodes. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me to do that, because right here, there is a gas station. Can you see what that logo is? Can you see that Tartaria may still be here, where it has been hiding in this location and is now ready for us to share it to the world? The Basilica of the Holy House, a Marian shrine located in Loreto, Italy, known for enshrining the Holy House, in which the Blessed Virgin Mary is believed to have lived. We are told that this house inside of the building, flown over to Loreto from Nazareth by angels, flying palaces to new locations, is exactly what we're reading right here. So I have to ask, what happened here where we all live today? It's not sounding so basic after all. Are we sure that we know the whole story? Are you ready to open your mind even further? Who occupied all of these structures all over the world? Massive structures that look so out of place today. We take our knowledge a step further, understanding that angels were possibly getting involved, embedded into our historical narratives, within construction stories, a situation, a narrative that we have now seen multiple times within our research. Angels getting involved all over the world. We also get the replacing the original nod, as well as the consumed in fire nod within the same sentence. So we know that this place is right up our alley. When we go inside, we get to see the Holy House, the same exact house that was supposedly being flown by angels, showing that there was a group of people here before all of us, a civilization that fully understood construction and were capable of so much more than just riding around on a donkey and living in wooden sheds, going to the bathroom in their front lawns. This is elite construction, elite technology, showing that the history that we've all been told has massive holes in it. There was a clear understanding of how to put a palace together before we all showed up, and this knowledge was worldwide. Like we have shown time and time again on this channel, there are numerous artistic depictions in and around the Holy House of flying angels carrying this house all the way to this location, where I now have to ask the question, did angels build this thing? We have seen this before in Lalibela, where they got more than a little help from angels, where they came in on the night shift and helped to complete churches. Again, this is the house that Mary, the mother of Jesus, is believed to have lived in. And I think I've said this a lot in the past, but there's always some that need me to say it again. We are just researching here and trying to grow our knowledge of the past with the resources and information that is available to us. And we have learned a lot to this point by simply asking questions and connecting things that we've seen before, connecting patterns and the rest. You can always think whatever you'd like, but if there is information that tells us that angels were here and carried and possibly constructed palace-like structures, I'm going to let you know about it. It would be one thing if this was a one-off. One thing if it's just in one religion's narrative. The thing is it's everywhere. Angels being involved in constructing palaces would be shocking. It would change everything about what we know about this place. It would give this place that we all live an extremely deeper meaning, showing that these so-called myths may not be so mythical after all. When we go to Mecca, Saudi Arabia, and we see the Kaaba, we are told that this is the holiest shrine in Islam. We also get the reconstruction story again, but yet again, we are told within a separate religion that the initial structure was built by the angels. Allah instructed the angels to build the Kaaba. After its construction, the angels revolved around it. I also understand that these stories could just be made up. The thing is that something happened here. Someone built these structures, And these structures are beyond what we're being told about in History 101. The structures are so out of place, and people that are born hundreds of years later, us, we intuitively understand that they are important without having any backstory at all. Sharing this information is what we are doing. Adding a possibility to the table that the local legend may be filled with more truth than what is being written within our textbooks. The fact of the matter is that somebody constructed these palaces. We can all go inside of them, and we're all at the point of trying to figure out how they all got here. Who built them? Where did this knowledge go? Why does it not fit in at all with the cowboys and Indians stories? Why did we go from palaces in every continent to dirt roads, donkeys incorporated, hammers and chisels with porta potties in the backyard? What happened? Did angels really assist in the construction that we all see today? Palaces that are now taken over and used to rule over us. Is this what's going on? You tell me. One thing is for sure. We are learning more and more by the episode. We are gaining more and more knowledge as a community, connecting dots, adding people that hold different skill sets, different knowledge, all coming together with different viewpoints, all to figure out what really happened here, the truth. One of the most incredible structures in the world today is the Chartres Cathedral, located 50 miles southwest of Paris, France. Constructed yet again in the 1200s, and yet again told that it stands on the same exact site of at least 5 cathedrals that have occupied this exact same site. A very clear nod, repeating narratives all over the world. This is the 5th one, and then stands on Romanesque basements. We all know about the basements at this point. Episode 72 and 78. Catacombs underneath the churches, generating an energy connecting with the bones underneath the floor. These buildings are so much more than what we are told and expand throughout the entire city underground. We have shown this. So what happened to the previous 4 churches? Did you know about this pattern 5 years ago? Did you know that it was all over the world? Did you know that every single one of these structures from the old world held the exact same narrative? When did we all learn about this knot? That at least 5 cathedrals have stood on this site, each replacing an earlier building, damaged by war or fire. The year 743, the church was finally mentioned in text. If you can go and visit this thing, I suggest doing that as soon as possible. The year 1020, fire damages the cathedral. The year 1094, fire destroys much of the city and a large part of the cathedral. Again, rebuilding it no problem at all 1,000 years ago. It's ridiculous. Just do a little fundraising in 1094 and we're all back in business. Until, of course, 1507 comes around when the North Tower is damaged by fire. I personally believe, and have said this in the past, I believe that the more fire that is thrown into the story, I believe, the bigger the treasure. 1836, fire destroys the roof beams and roof. And then this group is here to save the day yet again. Just take a look at this thing for a minute. Look at the griffin right here. The detail is insane. It's so obvious at this point that what we are being told about our past is missing a massive civilization, or civilizations, that were extremely advanced and their work lasts forever. Our history is important because it proves that where we live is so much more in depth, it has so much more meaning than what we're being told. Purposely chopping off the heads of these individuals in the middle. We have seen this so many times. Hiding what people used to look like, in my opinion. It would change everything. We've seen where the heads go rolling down the hill from a picky earthquake. We just need 50 meters of crushed stone way up on that mountain, 7,000 feet in the air. What would we do without that crushed stone 2,000 years ago? This story is ridiculous, where the statues, each over 9 meters tall, have all been damaged by earthquakes. But these were no ordinary earthquakes. These were the earthquakes that would chop the heads off of statues from 2,000 years ago. Extremely picky earthquakes that just wanted the heads. All documented. No, of course it's not. Where the earthquakes took their stone heads and sent them rolling down the hillside. Or did someone go in there and remove the heads? But the arms and the legs are perfectly fine. So what are they hiding here? There's angels depicted all over this thing. I don't believe this is just art. I think there is enough evidence at this point that angels were here. I don't believe that they just accidentally construct statues of people with wings in so many different continents 1,000 years ago. All on accident. With more statues' heads removed here down at the bottom. A clear attack on our true past. Over and over. Again, right here. Look at this thing. How many arms and legs do you see that got removed from this depiction? And then count how many heads. They are removed all over this thing. Was there another type of being here that we aren't supposed to see? We can see that the angels are here yet again in the middle. I do see a hand chopped off here in the center, where you have to ask, was he holding something of significance? Because the guy next to him is holding a box, so it seems like they both might have been holding something. And then the entire group down here got their heads taken. So there's something to this for sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 heads on the right. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on the left. Is this by accident? I don't believe so. In the middle here, above the building structure, his head is also gone. This is so odd in my opinion. This is something that we definitely need to keep in mind for the future. Or if you're going to one of these buildings, something to look for. The first row of people here, all the way around the center, they are all angels. Every single one of them are angels. There's like 30 angels depicted here. All by mistake? I don't believe that's a mistake one bit. This is incredible. If you see anything of significance that I'm missing, please let me know in the comments. Incredibly detailed construction that lasts forever. All from the old world and is now in our world. A place that we can all go and see. This was being constructed 1,000 years ago with multiple reconstruction projects. Getting it fixed up, no problem at all. Just a little bowling alley fundraiser gets you back on track. And then we're all told that we are evolving and advancing. Could you imagine? All right, everybody, we've done a lot of evolving and advancing lately. In fact, it's been 1,000 years. So we're gonna put one of these together in Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis, a palace is on the way. Could you imagine? No, I couldn't imagine, which is showing that we're not evolving and we're not advancing. But this happened all the time before we all got here. There is no progressing going on. Clearly, we are going backwards. And I believe that this is all by design. We are given technology back. Technology that has all been here before. This place that we all live seems like it had things here. Things that don't look like us at all. We've seen it over and over again. Whether it was from text or statues, like we have all over this structure. There are so many depictions of people with faces that are on their stomach. Individuals with horns. Horses that fly. And I gotta be honest with you, I have no idea where we are or what has been here. The further that I go into this research, the more that we find. At this point, I personally have to look at this structure. I have to trust what it's depicting more than what someone wrote 25 years ago. The ones that constructed this were, in my opinion, depicting what they knew about the world that they lived in. Angels all over the place. Women marrying, or at least together, with individuals with horns. And what is this guy doing with his hand? I think I've seen that gesture before. And then we get a floor pattern inside. Clearly, it's a technology that we all thought was just a nice addition to the place, where it is thought that the bishop would dance through the labyrinth with parishioners as a part of a religious ritual. Rituals going on inside of the structure. Things happening today that a lot of us don't understand. and then we enter them freely, uneducated as to what is actually going on, or has gone on. We do not understand the true purpose of this place that we live by design. And I'm going to say it again. Not every one of these places are used for this, but some clearly are. Used in multiple continents. It's a technology for sure, from the old world. And not all technology from the old world is good. Rituals to honor the spirits. The Chinese use them to keep time in ceremonial rituals. What is a ritual, you might ask? I'm not going to get into it too far, but we all know that there are some rituals out there that have been depicted for a very long time. Offerings, sacrifice, something that has been going on for a very long time. And I'm just going to move on at this point, but you get the idea. The Church of the Resurrection, which we have discussed. Palaces from the old world that are still here today. We are told it was built on the site that Jesus was crucified and buried. And we know this part. We've talked about it. But did we know that some stories suggest that angels appeared to Constantine the Great's mother, Saint Helena, and guided her to the site where the church was to be built? And then we're told that the angels are just symbolic. Right. Yet another account of angels getting involved. And I want to know your opinion, because I want to know at this point, is it more believable that a guy with no power tools built this? Or is it possible that there may have been assistance, like we are being told and shown through depictions right on the buildings? The Santiago de Compostela Arch Cathedral Basilica, located in Spain. It is said to have been built with the help of angels, according to local legend, not History 101 written by Steve the Know-It-All in the front row. Of course, no offense to all the Steves out there. The Apostle St. James, his remains were yet again transported to the site by angels. Later, when the cathedral was being built over his tomb, angels, just like we have shown over and over, believed to have provided assistance to the previous civilization, the old world, yet again providing assistance to the workers to construct a palace-like structure that lasts forever, and yet again has depictions of those angels all over it, on the outside of the building as well as the inside. Are you ready to go back into the catacombs? Just like we have seen every single time, the location of this chapel is in the historic center of Naples, Italy. The alchemist's chamber, or chamber of secrets, descending underground beneath the chapel yet again. We find 2 human skulls, and this is just the beginning. It's clearly symbolic for what is possibly behind that drywall, looking very different from the original plan, where half of the descendants would be placed above and then half beneath the main level of the chapel for reasons that are unknown. Now, I want everybody to understand that this is most likely a bunch of nonsense. And I say this because we have seen this so many times all over the world, where millions of bones are placed underneath these places of worship. They know exactly why they're there. Telling us reasons are unknown. This is telling us a lie. And we know this now. The prince is also most likely a fictional character, a fictional backstory as to why there are bones underneath this chapel, right in the middle of Naples, Italy. This place is also home to marble statues that are clearly not carved by hammers and chisels. We are told that these were carved in 1753, portraying Christ deposed after crucifixion, covered by a transparent veil, just chiseling marble perfectly in 1753, and then going home to his wooden shed, freezing in winters, no indoor plumbing, just relieving himself in a pot. They didn't even have toilet paper yet, using whatever was available, using old rags, moss, leaves, or the good old trusty hand, as we're told. But we are told that this hand-wiping civilization was just next door chiseling marble veils. So clearly somebody is lying. And here we go. The entire chapel is filled with symbolism. The chamber is said to contain secret passages, hidden rooms, and I guarantee that there are networks of tunnels, massive catacombs, all connecting to this central point, this location, this chapel. Some of these symbols inside the structure include the glory of heaven, a triangle that hides meanings that must be read in an alchemical Masonic way. The triangle signifies alchemically or sulfur, and of course, fire, where they have more angel and dragon depictions inside. It's just art, of course. If any one of these people that are just standing in line to get in just looked up for 2 seconds, they would see what is carved into the doorframe. This place, in my opinion, without a doubt, is a massive network of catacombs located right below their feet. Hidden rooms, secret passages, skulls on their front door, symbolism all over the place here. Let's take this up a notch and go even deeper. Staying in Italy, more specifically, Rome, we have the Our Lady of the Conception of the Capuchins, a Roman Catholic church. It is the first Roman church dedicated to the Immaculate Conception. Looking very nice and peaceful inside the building. Nothing too crazy. Everything is just fine until you scroll down to the crypt section. And just like we found on this channel, back in episode 72, part 1 of the catacombs, the crypt is located under the church. Every single time this is the case, holding the remains of thousands of people, thousands of bones, right below the floor of this church. The crypt is divided into 5 chapels, lit only by dim natural light, seeping in through the cracks. The crypt walls are decorated with the remains in elaborate fashion, making this crypt a work of art. This is insane. Can you believe that this is going on under so many churches in so many countries, proving that this was a common practice? It was not just a clear space for the cemeteries. In my opinion, it was a ritual. And I say possibly, but I mean probably, still is today. Structures and buildings, knowledge of the past. Where did all these people go? Why didn't the great fires of the 1800s kill thousands of people? Inhaling smoke would have done this by itself, and we've shown this. What if these great fires did? Or what if they were already gone and placed into geometric patterns? A previous civilization placed right under all of our feet, unaware that they were all under our feet, under the places of worship, until now. The crypt originated of a rich and creative cult for their dead. Great spiritual masters meditated and preached with a skull in their hand. Meditating with a skull in their hand under a church. What are we reading? What is going on here? I definitely was not taught about this in History 101, or 102 for that matter. With a bone-chilling message, a plaque right here in the center. In one of the chapels reads, in 3 languages, "What you are now, all of us, we once were, the previous civilization. What we are now, the catacombs, dead skulls, being used as meditation, you shall be, all of us." Basically giving away their plan right here on this plaque and what they have done to the previous civilization, putting them under our feet, putting them in places of worship. Let's read this again. What you are now, we once were. What we are now, you shall be. Crazy that they put this right on the wall, telling us what the plan is, and showing who those people are. I think this proves who they were and where the previous civilization really went. And it would be one thing if this was the only one in the world, But like we have shown now within episode 72, episode 78, episode 92, this is not even close to a once-off. It's in so many countries, and most of it is not open to the public, meaning that there are most likely so many more people that we're not told about or can see. We have seen this in Odessa. The catacombs are 1,600 miles long, a 3-level system, reaching a depth of 200 feet below the sea level, a massive network. Or the Paris catacombs. We are told that they are 174 miles long. However, only a small portion is open to the public, extending deep beneath the city streets, representing one of the largest grave sites in the world. So we don't know if they are bigger than 174 miles, but to suggest that they could fit a previous civilization, I mean, they definitely could. Now we're gonna move to Poland. We have the Skull Chapel. There's nothing weird going on here at all. No skulls on the door, not a single symbol that would give anything away. Do you see anything odd about this picture? Am I missing anything? I do see more angels, but that's just art, of course. And the building does look like it's going below the street level, which is kinda odd. And what is this in the basement? How did this get here? You know, if they found this underneath somebody's house today, I think we would all be a little skeptical. And I think it would get its own Netflix series. But as long as it's underneath a church, everything seems to check out and be just fine with everybody. Can we all wake up? At what point do we all say, that does seem a little odd. Maybe there is something weird about that. Maybe thousands of bones underneath the floors of all of these places of worship is a little odd. It is a little weird that my history teacher didn't tell me about this. It is a little odd that they are all put into geometric patterns. And I guess it is a little weird that they're holding skulls in their hand while practicing rituals all over the world in the basement. Anybody? A little odd? Yeah? Okay. And a nice no touching sign right here, in case anybody is insane and wants to do that. Ritualistic intentions, in my opinion, right beneath your feet, all over the world. Collecting the bones, cleaning them all up, and putting them under the chapel. The Sedlec Ossuary, Czech Republic. I told you we are just getting started, and I'm going to turn your reality upside down. I'm going to show you something that you will never unsee. The ossuary is estimated to contain skeletons of between 40,000 people and 70,000 people. And we know it is most likely more, whose bones have in many cases have been artistically arranged to form decorations and furnishings for the chapel. Tell me, at what point do you think that these people have your best interest in mind? At which point do you start thinking for yourself? Understand that what you've been told is planned. There was a previous civilization here, a civilization that was just like us, that was extremely advanced. They held the technology to create massive palaces all over the world. We have shown this. Masterpiece marble art that will be here forever. Again, all of this information is sitting right in front of your face. It's always been here. These places are real. We can all go and see them whenever we'd like. It's up to you to open your eyes and see the truth. I'm gonna say it again. Imagine any other place in the world, a grocery store, somebody's house, a warehouse, a restaurant, a mall, anywhere else. Imagine that they had 40 to 70,000 people, bones, laid in artistic designs under their floors, holding skulls in their hand for meditation. What would we all think about that place? Why is this so acceptable? Because it's under a church. This is strategic. It's by design. The ossuary is among the most visited tourist attractions of the Czech Republic, drawing over 200,000 visitors annually with chandeliers of bones, containing at least one of every bone in the human body, hangs from the center of the nave, with garlands of skulls draping the vault. Why is this a place that people are paying to visit? If I'm just being honest, they've done an incredible job manipulating the masses, telling us it will be us right on the wall one day. And we pay them to go look at the people that are now chandeliers. And they are so good at doing this that it's now somehow normalized. One of the most disgusting places in the world, in my opinion. Hundreds of thousands of us pay to go inside every year. Have we all lost our minds? We have shown that these things connect to schools, places of worship, hospitals, and then they put this kind of art in there. A decoration, apparently. Moving over to the Chapel of Bones. We are told it is one of the best known monuments in Évora, Portugal. Just a great attraction, a chapel, located right next to the entrance of the Church of St. Francis. How did the Chapel of Bones get its name? Well, it gets its name because the interior walls are covered and decorated with human skulls and bones, of course, and a great place to spend your Saturday. Come on down. And then they need to make sure they put these glass barriers up so that nobody goes and touches the bones, because people just can't seem to help it. What is going on? Who would seriously pay to go in one of these, let alone go and touch the bones? Oh my gosh, if you could see me now, you would see that I'm looking at these people shaking my head. It's under the church though, so it's acceptable. No. Did you know that this was below our feet? Did you know how extensive this was? Did you know that it was worldwide? Did you know that this one holds an estimated 5,000 corpses to decorate the walls of the chapel? The bones just came from ordinary people, of course, arranged into a variety of patterns. Such a normal thing to do under a chapel. Not weird at all. Very normal thing for chapels to do. But if a convenience store starts taking ordinary people and arranging them into a variety of patterns, I don't think anybody's gonna pay and take pictures. We're not gonna get 200,000 people a year in a Walgreens basement. But the place of worship, not an issue, of course. No problem. At what point do we wake up? I'm gonna go deeper. I was going to show you these photos that are down there, but then I read this sentence of what is underneath this chapel. So you can go look at the pictures for yourself. I'm not sharing it here. This basement, a place of worship, holds 2 corpses, one of which is this. And then people pay to go in there. And this is acceptable somehow. Written on the roof of this chapel is the phrase, "Better is the day of death than the day of birth." And we can now see who we are dealing with. A group that doesn't seem to enjoy our company. A group that seems to be fully in control of the masses. So much so that they think these places are payment worthy. The photos that are under this church, in my opinion, are disgusting. Understanding what is under our feet is incredibly important, and see what has been going on all of our lives. Places that are used as ritualistic practices. Things that we are told right on their websites, holding skulls for meditation, bones of the past placed into artistic designs, decorations to make chandeliers, plaques that read that what we are now, they once were. What they are now, we shall be. If you were on the fence about this research before, unsure if there was a previous civilization that was wiped out, unsure if we are being given back technology from the past, thinking that the narrative that we're all told worldwide, thinking that it was giving you the full story. Are you still on the fence? I think now is the time we all get off it. When we go to Austria, Hallstatt to be specific, an Austrian house of bones, filled with hundreds of intricately painted skulls. We are told that in the 1700s, the church began digging up corpses. In my opinion, this was the previous civilization from the mud, all to make way for the newly dead. An excuse that we have seen before, taking up too much room. So let's paint these ones and put them into geometric patterns for fun, and then do rituals. and also make people pay to see them. Sounds good? No. Tightly stacked over 1,200 skulls. Once the skeletons were removed from the mud, they bleached them in the sun. And then 1720 comes around, and they start painting them. A nice tradition, apparently, decorated with an assortment of symbols. Though this practice has been dying out since the 1960s, they took a woman from 1983 and they entered her into the ossuary in 1995, showing that this is still going on today. Dallas, Texas, a city that has so many old world buildings, buildings with narratives that will blow your mind. Buildings, structures that don't fit into our timeline at all. We are going to expose it all today, including the Strauss house. Wait, what? No, let's try that again. Dallas, Texas, home of the old world structures, the previous civilization, home of this old world castle. There we go, much better. A palace that they have just renamed the Dallas County Courthouse, made of red sandstone with rusticated marble accents, located at 100 South Houston Street, Dallas, Texas. We are told that this structure was constructed before the invention of the power tool in 1891. Take a look at the surrounding area. Our civilization's construction at the time versus the old world's work. Should I take it even further? Let's show the world what we're talking about here. A 1930s photo showing the palace in the background and a little wooden hut in the front yard. And then there's another angle of this hut in the front yard. For anybody that's on the fence, should we turn this up a notch? It is time to shred the narrative. Building log courthouses, just like we did in the 1800s. And then building an even larger log structure 6 years later in 1850. Because that's what we did. We built log structures. And then in 1856, the story heats up and gives us exactly what we want to see. The nod yet again. In 1860, it was rebuilt after a fire with multiple courthouses yet again. The fourth courthouse, a 2-story granite structure, erected in 1871 with yet another fire in 1880 before it burned down yet again 10 years later in 1890. All of this taking place, so we are told, all to get to the palace castle that we see today. All of these things happening before this castle. And we're not even close to the best part, I promise. After we get done with this narrative, everything about this place will be fully exposed to the world. The 5th courthouse on this site, this palace, begun in 1890 and was completed in just 24 months. Something that we have proven right here on this channel that would be logistically impossible before the power tool. This narrative is completely exposed, meaning that we needed to take it a step further and show that this Orlopp character was just that. He was a character with a 4,500-pound bell that originally topped the building, but was removed in 1919. Destruction of the old world. Right here. And here we go. Let's do this. 2 of the 4 clay figures perched on the roof have also been removed. Clay figures. What were the figures on top of this roof? Why not tell us what they were right in this paragraph? Let's go find out exactly what these figures were and why they wouldn't tell us what kind of figures were on top of this roof within the mainstream narrative. Why does it feel like they're hiding something? Well, because they are. And we're going to show exactly what they're hiding right now. On TexasEscapes.com, we see the missing 2 of the 4 original griffins. Griffins on top of this old world building in Dallas, Texas. It's time for everybody to see what is going on here. Griffins, Tartaria, absolutely incredible. 2 years to construct the palace. A palace with griffins, a 4,500 pound bell, removing it. Removing the griffins. Does this sound good to you so far? You tell me. You can see the horse and wagon down here at the bottom, and the griffins up here on the roof. Dirt roads with a palace at the end, with wooden wheels on those carts. Perfect for hauling all this stone all the way to the site. I actually just want you all to take a look at this picture for a minute and see that during this time period of dirt roads and donkeys incorporated, we are told that marble palaces are being thrown together in just 2 years. And to get the fire story over and over, wooden sheds in the front yard, removing evidence. Right next to Willie's Grocery. Look at the wagon power parked outside. It took us 2 years just to renovate it in 2005 to 2007. So can you see the lie very clearly now? This is just one structure today. The amount of lies that we're going to expose today will be shocking, because I have found Max A. Orlopp Jr., and I have located his archives. I have also found this character's backstory and told who his father was. He came to America, the land of the free. Free. Yeah. A lot of free buildings and free sons. Especially when they go on to say, he is now a man, 59 years of age, and a member of the Masonic fraternity. Are you not entertained? The Dallas Municipal Building, located at 106 South Harwood Street, Dallas, Texas. We are told that the city purchased the land. Yet again, multiple buildings telling us that this is the 4th city hall. 4 city halls, are you kidding me? Purchasing it between 1911 and 1912. The plans were drawn up in 1913. The building company goes bankrupt that exact same year. Bankrupt. Switching owners. The building was completed, and the building opened up in 1914. Can you believe this? Plans drawn up in 1913, and it opens up in 1914. 1 year with a bankruptcy in the middle. This is ridiculous. And I'm not the one writing this stuff. They are. I just want to say that before I show this next part, where the cornerstone of this Dallas Municipal Building was laid this afternoon with Masonic ceremonies conducted by Grand Master A.W. Houston of San Antonio in Dallas. It's a nice AI name. I'm surprised his first name wasn't Texas. We can see that this palace also holds a sub-basement. To clarify, this structure has a floor below the basement floor. A sub-basement. All constructed in a single year, supposedly. 1 year. Over 100 years ago. We know that these buildings are all connected through tunnels. We've shown this in so many episodes. All over the world, there are massive tunnel networks. In a great construction photo that couldn't be any clearer from 1914. Our civilization being the finders and not sure what to do with the sub-basement. They made it into a shooting range, because I'm sure that the reason that they constructed a sub-basement was for a shooting range. No. And here at the bottom, we see that they left a section of the building unfinished because they didn't need the space at the time. This building was found and repurposed. It's very clear. And now they're currently working to destroy this restore and renovate this historic building. And here it is today. The Palace of Dallas. Incredible. 1 year to construct this from start to finish. 10 original 400-pound ornamental bronze doors and relative hardware were all removed in the renovation project. They tell us that they restored it and reinstalled it, but we all know how that goes here. Original windows were destroyed during the 1956 destruction project, a renovation. I don't know why I keep saying destruction. Anyway, years built 1913 to 1914. Restoration project 2015 to 2017. Double the time yet again. To just restore the place, it takes double the time. I believe that this fact alone fully exposes the mainstream narrative. Over and over we see it, where the restoration today, the supposed evolved and advanced group, can't keep up with Donkeys Incorporated. The horse riding wagon community, they just weren't distracted, we are told. The dirt roads were just the perfect condition. When it rained, it was so nice and muddy, it was perfect for hauling the stone from point A to B. And constructing massive palaces in a year, it was just the perfect amount of moonlight back then. It couldn't get any better. The Woodrow Wilson High School, located yet again in Dallas. I located their 1947 edition of their yearbook, where they say that this is the 19th volume of their high school's yearbook. Just take a look at the building for a second. Does it look like it's 19 years old to you? Let's just be honest. It looks like it's been there for a very long time. A lot longer than 19 years. The stone on the top looks worn and shaded darker than the rest. Oh, and it has a fire. January 26th, 2016. Breaking news. As fire shuts down Woodrow Wilson High School, with hundreds of students left on the field, as dozens of fire engines and emergency vehicles crowded Glasgow Drive. First responders on the scene, of course, like we have seen every single time, declined to comment about the ongoing event. One firefighter says, "There's a fire at the school, that's all we know." And that's fine. Maybe he didn't know. But nobody ever does. No official word from anybody on what caused the fire that damaged all 3 floors of the old world building. Calling it an aging building, this is an attempt to destroy yet another one and move us into these demoralizing boxes. And hopefully we all forget about them. Oh, and of course, for the best part, the cornerstone was laid in April 1927 supposedly. And the school opened up right here in 1928. A massive school thrown together in 1 year. 1 year. Are you sure? Me either. The Praetorian Building, Dallas, Texas, 190 feet tall. And this research is incredibly important so that we are all aware of what buildings were here, and to hopefully end the destruction of our true past. When the city of Dallas confirmed plans to demolish the building was fully demolished by the summer of 2013, being replaced by a sculpture of an eye. And when you know, you know. And once you know, you don't go back to not knowing. Especially when we all know and have covered the fact that Dallas has its own great fire in July 1860. Remember that date. A fire broke out in the square, destroying most of the buildings. Knowing that we have a lot of buildings in 1860, could you even imagine what buildings were here in Dallas that were from the previous civilization, that were destroyed by a fire that spreads from stone building to stone building, somehow? Getting another awesome view of the Dallas County Courthouse here from the 1900s. But with a population of 700 people in Dallas in 1860. Again, a population of nobody and a total of 0 cars, not a single power tool. Building palaces, we are told that a population of 700 people, where half of them are children. How many of them know how to build a palace? We are told that this was taking place all over the world. How sure of that are you now? Is it possible that what we are told could be a massive lie, covering up that there was a group of people here, a group that was extremely advanced, a massive population that needed their work destroyed in great bombs that they call fires, destroying their work so that we didn't see it and start asking questions, leaving only a few behind. And guess who gets to use the ones that are left behind? Me? No. You? No. Do you find that odd? The Great Fire of Dallas in 1860 is a significant event with a population of only 700 people. Yet, they have a city filled with buildings. Most historical accounts suggest that the fire, while causing extensive property damage, did not result in any confirmed deaths. Do you find that odd? At what point does this register with everybody? Destroying much of the downtown area. And when you see one of them, it's odd, but you don't see the pattern. But when you put it all together, it begins to make sense. The Houston Great Fire, 1912. The cause of the fire was never confirmed. And of course, nobody was killed. And no one was seriously injured. Why are we told so many lies? Why can I just drop the guy down on a random street in India and see the way that we build today? Something that a civilization that is going backwards would throw together and be very proud of. Until you spin the camera to the right and see that the old world is staring right down at it, completely embarrassing it. A palace from the past. The previous civilization didn't just build one. They built thousands of them all over the world. And we have shown this, especially when we spin this camera all the way around and see this structure. A structure that does not belong in our timeline. Something that has been here for much longer than what we have been told. Today, this building is used as a central railway headquarters. Imagine this being constructed in your town today, located in Mumbai, India, with a population today of over 12 million people, the largest city in India. This building was the replacement, we are told. Yet again, a reoccurring narrative, completed 7 years before the invention of the power tool in 1888, 136 years ago, with photos that will blow your mind. Horses and donkeys, wagons and chisels, living in sheds, and building palace train stations. Are we sure? Well, let's keep going. Pinned to this group again. All over the world, they just take care of our favorite locations. It's very nice of them. I find it very interesting that they are interested in the exact same research, the same structures that we are. Coincidence? An interesting note here is that this is located in India. Do you find it odd that there are individuals on the side of this building in stone that do not resemble the people of India today? They can make up a story all they want, saying that one of them was a wealthy Hindu businessman. But I think it's very obvious at this point that these people were of importance to the past, a past that was further back than what we are being told. Are you still on the fence that the truth isn't being told to us? I'll go deeper. In the 1950s, authorities had begun to remove statues of the British figures. British figures or the people that didn't fit in with the region? You tell me. The old world, removing the figures from the government buildings and public spaces based on a directive from the government of India. Most of the statues, not all the statues, but most of them, were sent to Victoria Gardens, where they were left lying in the grass, in the open, for 30 years. A right to information report was filed, but had no records of the missing statues being exported out of India. Of course it didn't. There were no records. Historians now believe that the statue or statues were smuggled out, sold by politicians, or destroyed. Destroying statues of the past. Now, do you think anything is off? Or are you still believing the mainstream story? Do you think that it's odd that all the statues that resemble the individuals on the wall were all removed and destroyed? Let me know in the comments below. The ones on the wall couldn't just be removed. They are on the wall. So they were forced to make up a story about those. But we all know that these individuals depict the past, the previous civilization. They were not from our timeline, in my opinion. And this is what they're hiding in the 1950s. Our true history, our true past. It's incredible. Destroying all of the old world's work, their statues, leaving some of them in the grass for 30 years. This information was hiding right in front of our faces for so many years. And now that you've seen it, you will never unsee it. And you will be able to connect the dots faster and faster, especially when we see that the supposed architect that they pinned to this building was Frederick William Stevens, an employee of the British government, a man pinned as the guy born in 1847. Frederick William Stevens started building his first project, the Royal Alfred Sailors' Home, in 1872. He was only 25 years old. It was a small house where the sailors could rest after sailing the sea. Oh wait, no? It wasn't? No, of course it wasn't. The 25-year-old is pinned to this, a palace, the Royal Alfred Sailors' Home. 25 years old. In the year 1872, a British government employee with no experience. This was his first project, completed in just 4 years. We are told, with the chunky stone facade, detailing having architectural sculpture in Bath stone, all done by Richard and his son, the Mason. And now we're even getting this same sun nod over in India. It's all over the world. This narrative repeats itself. We have obviously found a character that was used as the front guy for old world palaces. This building still stands on this site today. We can zoom in on the front of this thing at the top. We have old world technology, in my opinion, with Neptune in the middle, mermaids, sea lions, and the rest. Like we have shown, these depictions of the past are all over these buildings. They were depicting what they knew about the world and putting it in stone. I believe that the creatures depicted, they were here, and they may still be here. And would you like to go inside and see what kind of things that they've destroyed in the inside of this place? Or are they hiding it from you? Unfortunately, it is not possible for non-official visitors to go inside this high security building now, if you can believe it. Again, hiding our true past, built by a 25-year-old, we're told. Nothing against 25-year-olds, again. But 1870s, 25 years old, knocking out a palace? Anybody? And we can't enter the building today, destroying statues of the past. The building was acquired by the government of India in 1928 and making this sailor's home the police headquarters in 1982. Do you find this odd? Even the historians are confused here, saying it looks more like a luxurious hotel with large airy rooms and bathrooms. And then we get a great photo of Donkeys Incorporated, the incredible shipping company that helped bring the stone to the site. Frederick William Stevens, a man pinned to the old world buildings. I believe that everybody should be on the same page at this point. But if there are a few people that are still skeptical, I'm going to turn this up a notch and show you more of his work. I'm going to show you that what we have been told is far from the truth. Located in South Mumbai, we are given the Municipal Corporation building. Again, pinned to Frederick William Stevens and completed in 1893. 2 years before the power tool. A building that is going to give it all away. This building was built by a much more advanced previous civilization that seems to have left their mark on all of these buildings. And when you know what to look for, like we all do here, we are going to find it. when we see that in South Mumbai, India, there is a griffin sculpture on the building. A griffin, yet again. A clear connection to the old world. When the Tartaria logo, a massive country from the past that is not taught in our history today, this country of Tartaria holds the symbol of a griffin on their flag. Going inside, we see that the central dome is built with perfection, precision. It's absolutely incredible stuff. Going back to this picture, you can see that the whole street is covered in this architecture. It's not just this building. Palace after palace. Oh, and it has an angel above the front door. If you've seen the last few episodes, you'll know what I mean. The plate here in the front of this is clearly covering something up. The true identity of this building is obviously under this rusted plate. It's embarrassing the things that we put on the old world's work. Come on, India. Look at that rust. Clean it up. With more old world tech at the top. No mistakes in the 1800s, where according to DonkeysIncNews.com, Stevens himself, as a baby, no training necessary, of course, he would lift that donkey high into the air, late into the night, while the town was at rest. Baby Stevens would saddle up that donkey, climb on that donkey's back, and chisel all of that stone up there at the top perfectly. And we're just getting started today. Mr. Frederick William Stevens, Mumbai, we are not done yet. A vacant 30,322 square foot palace, 130 rooms and 3 floors. We have the Raj Mahal, pinned to the same exact guy yet again. And this place has just been ruined. Our civilization found this building, clearly have no idea how to maintain their structures, letting it just deteriorate and using it until it looks the way we see it today, a total mess, and then abandoning it. And we all know what happens next. Destruction. And then wiping it from our timeline. So this has happened so many times and we know this. So it's time to expose the narrative and get everybody on board here. I'm going to show you something that should blow your mind. Here we go. We have the Gateway of India, an arch monument located on the waterfront of Mumbai, India. We are told that the foundation stone was laid in March of 1913 and completed in 1924. The problem is that there's a massive issue with this claim. We have a photo of this structure from 1911, predating the foundation stone by 2 years. So what's their excuse for this photo? Because it better be a good one. The Gateway of India was built to commemorate the arrival of George V on December 2nd, 1911. However, they only got to see a cardboard model of the monument. They are saying that this right here was a cardboard model. Does this look like a cardboard model to you? This narrative looks like a lie to me, as construction did not begin until 1915, when we were just told that construction began in 1913. The narrative is all over the place, telling us that this is a cardboard model. This is possibly the most insane thing that we have been told to this point. Absolutely unbelievable. I cannot believe that we believed this narrative for so many years. Clearly, somebody made a mistake and shared this photo with all of us, and they had to figure something out. We need to take a minute, and we have got to think about this conversation that they had creating this story. There must have been a couple guys in the room, and they had to figure something out. They gotta be saying, okay, the photo got released, and we definitely didn't want that to happen, so now we gotta fix it. So what do we do? Well, we can say it was a temporary structure before the real one, just like we do at the World's Fairs. Why would we build one before the original though? Well, just say we were in a rush for some queen or king to arrive. Great, yes, I love it. And what material was it made of? Stone? Marble? What? Cardboard? Yes, that's perfect. Cardboard, sure. But sir, what about the wind? Shut your mouth. There was no wind that day, of course. The people will love this story for years to come. The Cardboard Palace. Amazing. This is a mess. Construction did not begin until 1915. And literally right next to that, Construction started March 31st, 1913. Unbelievable. The Cardboard Palace, can you believe it? What were we doing believing this nonsense for so many years? Who's the architect? Here, George Whitted. This is how we unlock so many old world structures, because they used the exact same character and pinned that character to the rest of the palaces. Whitted designed some of Mumbai's best known landmarks, and they've changed the name obviously, where this first one was formerly named the Prince of Wales Museum of Western India. Now it's named this, the CSMVS. Right, and here it is, another palace of course. And we knew that this was gonna happen, because we are correct. If we were wrong, these patterns wouldn't exist. We would have been proven wrong like a year ago. But the fact that it works all over the world, it proves that we are correct. They have renamed everything in this city, just like we just showed. They've even renamed the city, which used to be named Bombay. We know that they changed the names of these palaces, attempting to throw us off while researching, in hopes that one would stop researching, because it becomes too confusing. Well, that's not gonna happen, because now that we know its true name, we will find even more information of the city of Bombay. Dirt roads and palaces in the background, horses and wagons. It's incredible stuff. And right next to this gateway, we have the Taj Mahal Palace and Towers Hotel. What an incredible city, with an aerial shot here of both of these structures. On November 29th, 2008, the Taj Hotel suffered devastating damage during the attacks, where a lot of the building was destroyed by fire. The buildings that are here today are very important in understanding our past. They open the door for us to see that there was a previous civilization here, a civilization that were masters of construction, showing us physical evidence that they held technology that was extremely advanced. All over the world, these structures and sites are constantly under attack. We see it all the time today. And then you have to be able to understand that this has been going on for such a long time. They have been removing old world buildings, and removing them is the key. Because when they're all gone, we will all forget, and we will all believe their stories, because we're not gonna have any proof of the past to present. Now going back to Whitted, I wanna show the rest of his buildings. The Institute of Science, knowing that it was called Bombay. You can then find these photos. When you type in Mumbai, this photo would never show up. You have Donkey's Ink right out front, enjoying the day. It's incredible what Bombay opens up for us. I could look at these pictures all day. Just a totally different world. These people were probably so confused. Going home to their sheds, going to the bathroom in the yard, dirt roads, and parking their horses outside of palaces in the town. This guy over here is waving to his friend, heading over to palace number 8 for his monthly game of pick up sticks. What else are we told that Whitted designed? The Small Causes Court. Here's an older photo of it, and here it is today. Looking nice and run down. Great job, Bombay. Mumbai. Then we get the Wadia Maternity Hospital, your average palace hospital, the Bombay House. When in 2011, a major fire broke out in the Bombay House. And then the building holds a basement. Of course it does. If you're new here, these buildings all have tunnels. They're all connected underground. And if you're interested in learning more, everything from catacombs to tunnels, forbidden maps, angels helping construct palaces, caves, the location of Mu, great fires in every city that took basically 0 lives, yet destroyed thousands of buildings, orphan asylums, insane asylums, airships and photo manipulation, AI narratives, and of course, our timeline begins in 1800. Now the last 2 buildings that they mention were the King Edward Memorial Hospital and the Grand Hotel. Incredible structures all over this location. Structures that have been sitting here all along. Places that we can all go and see is the Somerset House, located in London, England. We reported this fire live on X on August 17th, 2024. Destruction of the past, right in front of our faces, when they tell us that the cause of the fire is not yet known. We are never given the cause of the fire because they're not going to tell on themselves. We know that a group is destroying these buildings, the same exact group, in my opinion, that is attempting to hide our true history from all of us. They're destroying the old world's work over and over. August 19th, 2 days after the fire, they still don't know who or what caused the fire. And it was still being investigated, of course. And just like we saw in France with the fire from episode 87, there was, of course, no cause. And then we can see that nobody talks about it anymore. All of the articles are from a month ago. So once the news is reported of the initial fire, that nobody knows how the fire started, then they just leave it alone and hope that nobody thinks about it anymore. Not a single article about it anymore. Very interesting. This is a true investigation of the 2020s, being able to break the news, get the pop, and then never cover it again. As you can see, nobody is actually going and asking follow-up questions like, who caused the fire in an old world cathedral? Why is this not known ever? Well, I think we know. Incredible places of our true past. I feel like they should have given us the camera back in like 1910. After the power tool got here, after the horses and wagons were done, and after the porta potty era. Because just seeing the technology of the time, that single horsepower engines next to like 20 palaces on the same street, it just gives it all away so fast. Whoever gave us the camera back that fast, I think they really messed that one up. In my opinion, 1910 would have been a better option. They needed to wait like 100 years on that one. So we covered Mumbai, or Bombay, India today. The largest city in India in terms of population. But then we also have Delhi, where our friends are there as well. Just over there protecting this thing, the Victory Tower. It was mostly built between 1199 and 1220. It's all documented, of course. Nothing seems off. The spiral journals of the 1200s people, they were left there, up at the top of the 399 steps. Now, it's weird when you see one of these things, but it's very weird when you see two. And the other one is located all the way in Afghanistan. We can talk about that one and that entire area another time in the future if you want me to. Let me know. But first, we need to see this area on a map. We can see where this one is located in India, but we can also see that there are other important structures right here next to it. Right here. This is the Victory Tower. Very obviously a structure from the old world, the previous civilization. There's no doubt about it. Now, dropping this guy down, we can see the other structures in the same exact area. Structures that do not belong in our timeline. Not fitting in with the narrative that we are all told. Stone structures that have been here all along. A closer look at this so-called Victory Tower and a clear shot that this location has been destroyed. It's incredible that this is still sitting here for all of us to see. Dropping the guy down over here and seeing that they have this. And for so many years, nobody has questioned this. How is that possible? Showing the comparisons to the old world's work and then the way that we construct things today, proving that we are not moving forward. We are going backwards 100%. And something happened here where we live, an event that took the previous civilization with it. Zooming out, we have a supposed tomb, all located right next to each other. A clear shot at the Victory Tower from its location. The previous civilization's work has been sitting here all of our lives, waiting for us to realize it. It's been sitting right here in every single city, all over the world, right in front of our faces. We were all just too blind to see it until now. Welcome to Vienna, Austria, where we have the St. Charles Church. We have shown that in the 1700s, humans didn't even have toilet paper, using the good old trusty hand. This was the mindset in the 1700s, we are told. And then we all get this, a palace. And today, we are going to expose its narrative to the world. A narrative that we have all blindly accepted for so many years. Until now. In 1713, this hand-wiping civilization just had so many palace masterminds that they had to hold an architectural competition because they just couldn't decide which one of these outhouse living, donkey riding master architects to pick from. There were just so many of them that they needed to hold a competition, if you can believe it. They find their winner in 1716. The wagons would get the stone and the marble right to the site. Not only this, but in 1713, Vienna, Austria only had a population of about 100 to 150,000 people. Beginning this palace construction the exact same year, 1713, that Vienna was hit with the devastating plague, reducing the population dramatically. This was, of course, no problem for the mainstream narrative. Plague or no plague, only 150,000 people. This palace was going to get done. Oh, and remember, half of the 150,000 people, they're children. So they're not building anything. Vienna, Austria, they were determined to hold a palace building competition. And the palace would be here forever. The fact that these stories worldwide were never questioned until now is extremely alarming. 75,000 adults at the time. We're realistically looking at around 30,000 individuals that would be eligible for this supposed mastermind competition, considering all factors, age and the rest. Living in sheds, no power tools, no light bulbs, and working by moonlight. Was everybody just born with palace architecture skills? No. And they couldn't just build themselves a bathroom. It's not adding up. Do you know a single person today that holds the knowledge to construct this? I don't know anybody that can construct this today. In 2024, I've personally talked to so many architects at this point. Not one time do they agree with the mainstream narrative. So Johann wins. We are told in the middle of a plague, 1716, they get started. And 7 years later, he dies. And his son, his son completes the construction. Of course he does. Joseph Emanuel Fischer von Erlach, the son, pinned to the completion of this palace. He was born in 1693, we are told, meaning that he was only 23 years old when the project started. Again, nothing against the people that have never trained and have no actual experience and no education. But in order to build a palace, I think that you would probably need to have taken a class or two. You would think. Let me know what you think about that. Developing his skills in his father's shed. At 18 years old, in 1711, he was working on 4 different buildings. So, let's take a look at these buildings. This is the first one, we are told. The Lobkowitz Palace. The Palais Trotzen. I think that the funniest thing would be is to see what these 2 master builders were going home and living in. I wish we had a photo of their house because I know they weren't living in a palace. I'm sure these 2 were riding home on Seabiscuit, waiting to get to their shed. They're also pinned to this court and this palace as well. For anybody new here, these characters that are pinned to these palaces, these stories are just that. We have proven this in my opinion. There was a very powerful, extremely advanced civilization here where we are today. And they were all over the world. They held all of the technology that we have now and so much more. And their structures, their palaces, they sit here looking at us every day. And most of us never questioned it until now. A small population with 0 training, no power tools, we are told. A guy and his son, during a plague, knocking out palace after palace, and then riding home on their horse to their shed, freezing in winters, while everybody is dying from the plague. nobody would be focused on building this building. They would be focused on living. This is the narrative that we were all believing. And take a look at this detail, all the way up this thing. Could you even imagine seeing a mistake? I think I'd lose my mind. The chisels of the 1700s were as good as lasers. They were practicing their chiseling skills as a baby. But sir, I have no idea how to chisel all of this stuff. I have no training. If you don't get this done, I'm taking away your moss wiping privileges. You better knock it off. Oh, and did I show you the inside? See anything suspicious? Anything that would give it all away? Any symbols? Let me know. Can we just take a look at this for a second? This is insane. Who else wishes that the basic box style would just go out of style already? Who else wants their town to get a few of these done? We are evolving and advancing, of course, right? We're not? No, we're not. If an 18-year-old could do this in 1700 with no power tools during a plague, we should be able to do it today. You think a college student today could get this done with training and with power tools? I'd love to see one try. If you've seen episodes 72, 78, and 92, you will know how important symbolism is. You will also know what is really beneath these structures. You will know that when you see a skull right here in the middle of these two guys, we can only guess as to what is beneath our feet when we walk in there. With more angels, it's just art, of course, and more angels depicted on the ceiling. Again, it's just art, and it's all over this place, all over the walls. Marble angels, organs that have angels on top of it. In my opinion, I don't believe that it's a coincidence that angels are depicted on these palaces all over the world, in every single country. I believe that it's possible that they were here and guided the people of the time, depicting what they knew about the world. I don't believe that this place that we all live is the place that we're all led to believe. After everything that we've seen and know to this point, suggesting this is very basic. It's not a reach at all. If it weren't embedded into the walls, the statues, the paintings, and then confirmed in narratives from local legends that are being suppressed, like we have seen in Lalabella. If this wasn't the case, then I wouldn't suggest it, but it is. And on top of it, the narratives that we are given are ridiculous and aren't logical at all. The structures are insane. They don't look like something a civilization of nobody, going through a plague, riding around on horses and wagons with dirt roads and having no power tools would build. And a very interesting note here is that this palace with the skull in the room is located in the dead center of Austria, the dead center. What have we learned about the dead center? Are you ready to go deeper? We have shown the St. Stephen's Basilica in Vienna, Austria, which is only located 0.68 miles away from the St. Charles Church. And we know that these buildings are connected underground. We know that the St. Stephen's Basilica had become the resting place for thousands of people, telling us that a common practice was to remove the internal organs, the heart, and then bury the individual separately. Can we go back to this picture for a second? Can you tell me what this individual is holding in his hand? Is that a heart? Let me know. These symbols are right in front of us. We all just didn't understand what we were looking at before this research. Just adding in a note here, that this individual is wearing gloves. This was a messy project. Again, rows of stacked bones under churches in Vienna, Austria, with guided tours. Get your tickets today. Unbelievable. I believe this is the previous civilization, 100%. I believe it is the group that was here, and they are now underneath our feet. It's very strange. Now check out this place. It definitely gives Budapest and Edinburgh a run for their money. The whole place looks like you're in the old world. I can't even imagine going there and seeing this. Let's check one of these palaces out. Let's do Disney World in Austria. Look at this picture. This is insane. Look at the horses and wagons, the dirt roads, and a palace towering over them. This structure is the city hall. Look at the size of the people. Austria, I think you did it. You might be the most incredible city that I've ever seen to this point. Look at the statues in the front of this place with a clock tower, 30 arches down here at the bottom. And we all know that these buildings are all connected underground, with another design competition being held in the 1860s, we are told. This time, Frederick was the winner. Repeating names yet again. We're told that this was done in just 11 years, when we all know that the Kleksinski building in Chicago, this box, took 14 years, with all of us here to see it, with power tools, from 1960 to 1974. And the architect had some training. Just for a little perspective, this photo is from 1885, we are told, showing the transportation that was available at the time. This donkey riding community is responsible for constructing palaces. Are you sure? Me either. Again, giving us the camera back a little too quick, in my opinion. Constructed from 1872 to 1883, with the city hall painted around 1860, predating the narrative's construction years by 12 years. This narrative is all over the place. Constructed from 1872 to 1883, we were told. Vienna, Austria, 1855. Now predating the construction date by 17 years. Multiple sources, multiple depictions of this palace being here before its supposed construction date, with a separate source stating that it was built from 1872 to 1883. So you tell me, with horrible news that the entire facade of the Vienna City Hall was already renovated. We know here what restoration or renovation really means. It means destruction of the past, our true history. We have seen where they remove statues and they just throw them into the lawn for 30 years before destroying them. An 11-stage project that began in September 2012. Here were the 11 phases of the destruction. This structure, this palace, it did not need our help. And we all know this here. Now check this out. More confirmation. The City Hall has the following structure from the top to the bottom. The main tower, attic, second floor, first floor, half floor, ground floor, first basement, and a second basement. A sub-basement is exactly what we are reading here. It's unbelievable. Confirmation that there is activity under the structure, tunnels, connecting the buildings yet again. And remember, it says second basement, but we know that there are more. The first basement was opened on February 12th, 1899. Opened in 1899? What? It was closed before this. The artistic design in the basement. What are we reading? The first basement contains numerous rooms, including 2 different halls, with destruction work in 1925, 1952, and 2005, where murals in the basement were changed. Incredible. So you can actually go in here today. And remember, they're not gonna tell you anything about that second basement. They have a restaurant in the first basement now, which, remember, was supposedly constructed from 1872 to 1883. This is what we were told, 11 years. Yet the renovation project was completed, taking over 10 years just to clean the place up. From 2012 to 2023, can you see very clearly now that something is extremely off about what we've been told? Taking almost as long to clean the place up in 2012 to 2023 versus building the entire structure, all the basements and all of the floors in the 1800s. a structure that spreads over an area of 210,890 square feet, arranged around 7 inner courtyards, a total space of about 1,220,000 square feet, is spread over 3 floors and 2 basements, maybe more, holding 2,987 rooms. Also has a central tower with a height of 322 feet. What an incredible place. And right next door, they're destroying this church and putting a sign out in front, so you can't even see what they're up to. Nice. If you're in the area, I suggest taking a look around now, before they continue to restore the whole place into boxes. And you can really go down any road here, and there are structures from the old world. Going back to episode 91, we have more angels depicted all over this thing, with the first mass taking place in 1768, and 12-year-old Wolfgang Mozart was conducting the songs. Of course he did. We just picked any random building, and they said that this is where Wolfgang Mozart started his career. Can you believe it? Then we have the Vienna State Opera. Again, Donkeys Inc. is hard at work. Something that blows my mind, just looking at these pictures, is seeing the donkeys and the wooden wheels with the wagon. And then thinking, what if it rained one day? The dirt roads would be a mess. The wooden wheels on the wagon would never hold all that stone. This would take years to get the stone to the site, and especially in winters, with snow covering the whole place. You're never gonna get a good day to ship the stone. So when we get, it takes 10 years to restore the place, and only 11 to build the whole thing. There are major flaws that we all need to be aware of, logistics that don't make sense. And this is why I keep saying that I think they gave us the camera back too quick. With more angels depicted up here to the right, inside the building, and painted on the ceiling in this room, and also painted on the ceiling in this room. So it's not just the outside that's incredible. The inside took so much detail, and a group of people, a civilization, that fully understood how to get this done. Oh, and flying horses outside. So clearly, we are not being told the full story about this place that we all live. What did we all miss? Why is it being suppressed? And why do these buildings, these structures and sites, worldwide, why do they hold narratives that are clearly fabricated? Narratives that are impossible to get behind. For example, going back to this area and finding a theater that has architecture from the gods, not fitting in with what we've been told. Again, angels depicted all over it. All of this done with a chisel? Are you sure? Built in 1540, we are told, after the old one fell victim to a fire in 1525. I'm gonna ask, has the mainstream narrative repeated itself too many times to be trusted? I personally believe so. I believe we are finding and exposing its flaws, its keys, multiple times within the same narrative, largely destroyed in a bombing raid by the United States Air Force, and 1 month later, on April 12th, 1945, it was further damaged by a fire of unknown origins. The old world is everywhere, in every country. It's above ground, and like we have shown, it's also below our feet. Paola Malta, the Hypogeum, was discovered by accident in 1902 when workers cutting cisterns for new housing development broke through its roof. The workers then tried to hide the underground temple at first, but eventually it was found. During excavations, the previous civilization was found in 1903. Human remains were emptied out and discarded without being properly cataloged. Unbelievable stuff here. Not allowing the public to see the site until 1908. Taking 6 years to remove the old world and anything that would give the mainstream history away. Hiding the truth from all of us is exactly what this is saying. And now that we know how to read these stories and find the truth within them, we can see that they found something else in 1990 when further excavations took place between 1990 and 1993. The Hypogeum was then closed to the public for 9 more years, between 1991 and 2000, for destruction work. And since its reopening, the government body only allows 80 people per day to go see this site and is strictly regulated. And remember, they just found this place in 1902. And now they're telling us that this site is from 6,000 years ago. You will know that this date is complete nonsense. It's completely made up, all based on testing the local bush near the site, telling us that they just abandoned it for 4,500 years when settlers just decided that their underground palaces, they just weren't in style anymore. We are told that there was a surface shrine that marked the entrance to the site. Do you think that that was something that was removed during all of those years where we weren't allowed at the site? Archaeological excavations indicate that there was once a shrine. This is insane. They obviously saw that there was a shrine. Could you imagine? A few guys that are really great at regurgitating textbooks are all sitting there looking at this place. And one of them just has a vision that there used to be a shrine that marked the entrance to the site. Nothing remains of the potential enclosures that would have marked the entry, but based on a wild guess, there was a shrine there. No, they have that shrine somewhere, and they know that it was there because they removed it. And this is very obvious now. Now, my personal favorite part. How was this thing constructed? Well, they cut directly into the rock with antlers, of course. Just chiseling stone with antlers. Yes, of course, the mainstream history is filled with great stories that are perfect for a baby. Flint, the Flintstones, of course. Chert, just smashing that little rock and antlers against that wall for years until you finally make a palace underground. 6,000 years ago. This is great. What else can we tell them? An obsidian was used. A glass formed from lava. Yes, the glass will be the perfect tool to hold in your bare hand and just hit repeatedly against that solid rock. Glass in your hand. Amazing what we're told. It's also a joke. Again, the mainstream history has no idea. They are making all of this up. And they tell you right here, where the site may have been. It might have been. Maybe. But will forever be a mystery if it was first used as early as 6,000 years ago. So when the history major tells you, no, we know that was from 6,000 years ago. We tested it and we are sure of it. We used all the scientific tools of the modern world. When they tell you this, remember that they say that this site might have been first used as early as 4000 BC. It is not confirmed, and it never will be, because it's impossible to confirm that when they just found the place on accident, like 100 years ago, blocked it off from all of us for years, only letting 80 of us see it daily today, and giving us this story. We know here that a much more logical explanation for this site is that there was, taking place all over this map, the previous civilization. And this civilization was incredibly advanced. They created underground structures all over the world. And we have shown this. Underneath all of the major cities, within so-called mountains, this is not a once-off. They did not hit the rock with glass. They didn't hit the rock with an antler. They were advanced, constructing underground passageways all over the world. And it wasn't as far back as we're all told, in my opinion. I believe, based on everything that we have seen to this point, that this civilization was here within the last few hundred years, and a mass event took place, taking most of the previous civilization with it, while leaving their structures behind for all of us to see. And to prove this place wasn't just a couple friends making a little cave. The temple was designed with perfection. The temple structure, uses careful direction of light from the sun to penetrate into the lower chambers with intricate patterns. One of the main chambers appears to be oriented such that the light from the winter solstice illuminated its facade from the original opening above. These were master designs. They were built with perfection and with a purpose. Everybody needs to remember that they found this place and then blocked it off from all of us immediately. So at that point, we are allowed to have questions. After you block the site off from all of us, everything is up for debate. You can't perform secret investigations, find items from the past, and then tell us that we have to believe you, believing that you aren't withholding any items or information. A broad range of objects were discovered from the site, blocking us off from the initial findings. So they tell us they found some pottery. And don't forget the pottery. I believe the pottery is something that they give us so that we don't dig deeper. Don't forget this because I'm going to show it again in future episodes. Remember the pottery. They find some beads, some shell buttons, and some carved figures depicting humans and animals. Nothing to see here, of course. Just some buttons and beads and some pottery. Are we all still buying this nonsense? You tell me. It is estimated that the remains of 7,000 individuals were found in the Hypogeum. 7,000 individuals were found. And though many of the bones were lost early in the excavation process, most of the skulls, not all of them, but most of them, were deposited at the National Museum. 7,000 individuals from the old world were discovered inside this underground complex, though many of the bones were lost in excavation. What? What are we reading here? This is destruction of our true history, right in front of our faces, right here in the narrative. We are shown the truth, and it wasn't until now that we could actually see it. How many of us have been taught about this location within our mainstream history classes that we all had to sit through? How many of us saw this sentence, that the bones were lost early in the excavation process? Time and time again, we find massive keys that show that there was a previous civilization here, and we are not being shown the truth. Our true past has been destroyed and hidden from all of us. These stories that we are all given are completely fabricated. The point of interest has already been messed with. Without us being able to confirm any of this, they blocked us all off from the site. Over and over, they do this all the time, all over the world. Now, let's just blow everybody's minds today. Are you ready to take this research further than before? Are you ready to show the world just how incredible this research really is? Here we go. A small percentage of the 7,000 bones. They just told us that they destroyed many of the bones. So a small percentage of the remaining bones have an abnormal cranial elongation, similar to the skulls from ancient Egypt, fueling speculation about the people who occupied this site. An incredible moment in our research that we were all here to see. Why do you think they destroyed many of the bones early in excavation? Why do you think they did this? They did this because most, if not all of those 7,000 skulls that were found at this site had abnormal cranial elongation that would take their ridiculous narrative and rip it right in half forever. This is why we were not allowed to see the site until these bones were all destroyed. The previous civilization, we've shown many times, had beings that do not look like us. We have shown it in the art that is still on the walls of some of these cathedrals and basilicas. Statues that we were just told were art. We were told they were fictional characters, myths. I don't believe it's a coincidence any longer. We are showing over and over that where we live is so much different than what we are told. And this is being exposed now. Absolutely incredible. We can even go back to episode 81, Statues in the Sky, at Mount Nemrut in Turkey. And you can now ask, why were the heads removed? And have a much clearer answer. Removing the heads that showed that these individuals had elongated skulls, keeping the ones that had a hat on to hide it. This is incredible. You can even go to episode 91. Same thing. The heads are all removed, all over the world. I believe this is what they were hiding now. The elongated heads of the past, going to every single continent before we got here, the reset, and chopped off the heads of these statues, making sure that this group of people were removed from our timeline, removing them from the narrative that we are all told. The structure is constructed entirely underground and consists of 3 superimposed levels, multiple levels yet again, with hallways and chambers interconnected through a series of steps, telling us that they think the upper level is thought to have been occupied first. No way. Really? I don't think any of us would have ever figured that one out, that the upper level is thought to have been occupied first. Ridiculous. The previous civilization were extremely advanced. The oracle room producing a powerful acoustic resonance from any vocalization made inside of it. The other room is decorated in a geometrical pattern of spirals. All of this is done by Fred Flintstone and his antler. No. Then we get the central structure. No bones were ever recovered from this room, we are told. And we all fully trust that now. Nope. Not even close. And the best part of this site had to be the lower level, where they just have one sentence. The lower story contained no bones or offerings. Yeah, right. Before this research, we would have read that sentence and said, okay, yeah, nothing to see there. Not anymore. We know exactly what to look for. We understand how to read these stories, how to find their flaws. We understand that there were supposedly 7,000 skulls and bodies from the old world found in this underground complex, telling us that we weren't allowed to see this site, and then destroying most of the bones while excavating it. And then we would just trust this group when they tell us that the lower level contained no bones or offerings. Offerings. What a weird word that they chose there. And they also don't know how to spell the word story. What a mess. Absolutely insane what we have found today. It's so odd that this group is yet again so interested in our favorite locations, where visitors are recommended to book months before, as they don't let anybody go in there and see the place that they just found, also profiting off of it. According to HeritageMalta.mt News, the National Museum of Archaeology has an exhibition titled Alien Headaches that have these skulls on display, calling these skulls aliens, of course, because they can't just say they're from the past. They have to say that they're from a fictional place, with zero evidence provided that that could even be a possibility, rather than just simply saying that their narrative is wrong and that there used to be humans or beings here where we all live that did not look the way that we currently all do. Their evolution theory would be thrown right in the garbage if this was true. So they have to come up with aliens. Understanding that we are not the only type of species to ever be here is key. Our true past, the true history, is not at all what we have been told. This place that we live had and may still have individuals here that have elongated skulls. Going on to say, a unique opportunity to observe the Hypogeum skulls closely occurred in 2020 when nobody was allowed in, since these skulls are usually kept in the reserve collection and have not been publicly exhibited since 1995. Why are these skulls being hidden from the public still? I think we all know why. Oh, hey, by the way, everybody, yeah, there were actually some people here a few hundred years ago that we forgot to tell you about that had elongated skulls. So here's their bones, and yeah, we did destroy most of them in 1903 to 1909 when they didn't allow you to all watch us destroy them. Excavate the site. But trust us, the rest of the story is totally true, I promise. No. Until 1985, the skulls were on display at the National Museum of Archaeology. Strangely, Heritage Malta, the authority responsible for Malta's prehistoric narrative, a nice group that we can investigate later, this group removed the skulls from the public's view around 30 years ago. And since then, they have only been available to researchers by special permission. Now, why would somebody do that? Somebody that has nothing to hide. Why would they do this? Or do you think that they might have a lot to hide? Do they feel threatened that their ridiculous narratives would fall apart in seconds? You tell me. There is so much secrecy surrounding this site, these skulls, our history. It really is incredible when you know what to look for, like we do here. It completely opens the doors and lets the truth come flying through. We are also told that the most widely accepted explanation is that these skulls might have, they might have been the result of intentional cranial deformation, a practice known in various ancient cultures where the skull was bound or shaped during infancy to achieve a certain form. And this is easily disproven based on the amount of secrecy surrounding these skulls. If it was a simple, intentional cranial deformation, bound or shaping during infancy, if this was truly the case, we all know that they wouldn't be destroying them without the public, all of us, there to see it when it happens. They wouldn't be hiding them in the basement for the last 30 years. There is obviously something about these skulls, something that would prove that they weren't intentionally formed like this, and it was a natural occurrence. And they know this. And this is exactly why they keep them in the basement. Removed thousands of them from the site 125 years ago upon finding them. Since we have found so many flaws within the narrative, it really makes me want to go to the artificial cranium deformation research page. Is it possible that all or most of these skulls found around the world were not formed or bound, and instead, these were the skulls of the past? You can see that this is not just in one location. This is worldwide, from Hungary to Germany to Sogdia, which is present-day Turkmenistan, which we all know is a very interesting location. Elongated skulls found in the Nazca culture, finding them over in Mexico, Bolivia. Again, they are everywhere. I believe we have located the true meaning of these elongated skulls today. I believe that this was a group of individuals that were here, a part of the previous civilization, and today they give us this alien excuse, hiding them from us, destroying them. It's very odd. The process that it would require to make a human skull do this is insane, including comb-like set of thin rods binding the baby's forehead. Do I need to go on? There is no chance that this was done all over the world. I believe this may have taken place in some cultures to try and resemble the people of the past. But these skulls are not from those people. These skulls were the people of the past, a group from the previous civilization. It's all very interesting. You even find the elongated skulls on coins. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments. Now let's get back to this location of Hypogeum, the underground temple in Malta. A 3D laser scan was conducted, showing the 3 layers of this place. A 5,400 square foot site. A hypogeum is an underground chamber, and this is not the only one in the world. It's not even close. We find another one in central Italy, the Hypogeum of the Volumnus family, telling us that it dates back to the 3rd century BC. but the date is, of course, uncertain, holding numerous subterranean tombs yet again. The tomb was supposedly used until the 1st century BC. This is what we're being told. Yet, they didn't even find it until 1840, rediscovering it on February 5th, 1840. And then knowing all about its history, of course. And this is totally believable. No. And you won't find anything odd in here, right? You won't find anything that's going to show that what we have been told is a massive lie. We aren't going to find any art. No depictions of the past. Oh, wait. What is this? Located inside of this underground temple, it just so happens that there are, yet again, depictions of angels. Angels, yet again. What are the odds that these same angels are depicted all over the world, all over buildings, and now they are found underneath the ground, under our feet, buried in the ground? This is still down there. If this is what they left us to see, the people that found it, could you even imagine what they really found in that place? Could you even imagine what our true past really is? Who was here? What was here? What is the meaning of this place that we all live today? Why are we finding elongated skulls and angels right under the dirt, right under our feet, hidden from the public? And are they still here today? The further that we go, the more that we find. The Hypogeum is an enormous subterranean structure, excavated 4,524 years ago, lifting huge blocks of limestone, all thanks to this group yet again for their input. And I thought that we had covered most of this topic, but I kept digging, and we are not even close. Today, we are going back for more. For anyone new, we are speaking about the Hypogeum, located in Malta, more specifically, in the town of Paola, where they found this underground temple in 1902, discovering it while constructing houses, blocking the public, all of us, from the area for nearly a decade, where they found 7,000 elongated skulls, destroying most of them, and then hiding the remaining ones from the public. And we have shown all of this. Now today, I wanted to go back because there are things that blew my mind. One of the most striking characteristics of this location is that some of the chambers appear to have been cut in imitation of the architecture of the above ground megalithic temples, doing all of this underground. Are you seeing what this means? I'll keep going. Where they found false bays and windows, underground windows. Can you see very clearly now? This temple is underground now, but I don't believe that it always was. Most importantly, the ceiling with one ring of carved stone overhanging the one below to supposedly imitate a roof. Imitating a roof? Or was this just a roof? Was this a temple just on the ground level when it was constructed with the event that we've talked about so many times, burying it, and in doing so, killing the 7,000 plus individuals inside? Is the previous civilization, just like we found here, buried under our feet right now, all over the world, and we have yet to find it? And to prove our point here, the mainstream thinks this was some sort of burial ritual, saying that it appears that the bodies were probably left exposed until the flesh had decomposed and fallen off, when in reality, these individuals were most likely killed on the spot from the event that took place. And if there were any that didn't die immediately, they would have been trapped underground. Individuals were not buried separately, but piled onto each other. This is all according to our friends right up here at the top. It makes so much more sense that this was not a burial site at all. It was originally above ground. and they were then trapped under the ground in this event and tossed the deceased into the pile. Remember, this event melted structures all over the world. We have shown so many examples of this. The original structure definitely could have been melted, now leaving it look like it was chiseled. Chiseled with an antler, like we have shown. We have seen so many times all over the world that the old world is buried below our feet. Something massive happened here, 100%. It's undeniable at this point. And like I said, I wanted to go deeper. I wanted to show you even more. So I went back to the Hypogeum of the Volumnus family, located in Italy. This site includes about 200 tombs. And then finding this one in 1840. And then knowing all about the 2nd and 3rd century BC. They found this one while carrying out excavation works for a new road, where it seems like it was used until the 1st century BC. It seems like it. Unbelievable. Having 10 rooms and 2 winged demons guarding the entrance. Again, finding all of this while putting in a nice road and a sidewalk for all of us, showing that most people have no idea what is under their feet. We haven't even found it all, and we know this, and it all predates the horses and wagons nonsense. Stone structures of winged demons, an advanced group, underneath our feet. And then it all goes back to dirt roads and sheds. No technology and writing by feather. Or are we not being told the truth? You tell me. Remember, we are in Italy, and I told you we were coming back for a reason. Are you ready? Right here in front of the main entrance sits a collection of urns found in the necropolis in other tombs, belonging to other families. It seems that they were all painted with various scenes, some with the griffin. The griffin, yet again, Tartaria. I don't believe that this griffin was so mythical after all, and I don't think it was here that long ago. With other representations of Greek mythology, not so mythical after all in my opinion, and found because we were going to build a road. Oh, and what happened to that guy's head? Maybe there was a random earthquake 800 years ago that just wanted his head and left everything else just perfectly fine. Now check this picture out. This was found making a road. I just cannot even imagine what else we haven't seen yet or has been removed from us already. This is incredible. Our history is missing so much. The reset clearly took place within the last few hundred years, throwing us right back into the horse and wagon era, removing all technology, removing all the history, all the knowledge about this place that we all live. I've seen enough at this point where I believe that there were angels here, as well as demons, and I have no idea if they're really gone. Again, this place was found in 1840. This is the timeline that we have talked about so many times. Our current civilization, all of us, starting back in the 1800s. We have episode 10 and 38 that show everything that's been given back to us within these last few hundred years. Who lived here before we all got here? It's crazy to look at the depictions of the past. If they didn't put it all in stone, we would have no idea what used to be here, because we're definitely not told about these things, about demons or angels being involved with humans. And we all know that that story was removed from the book. The narrative that demons and angels were involved with the humans, this narrative is folklore, supposedly. Yet, we see the angels and we see the demons intertwined into the buildings, right into the stone, into the stories that are being depicted on these buildings within the stone art in every single continent. Clearly, this was the civilization that constructed the old world palaces. This one on the bottom right looks like he has a tool in his hand, having huge hands for being so small. Same with the other one on the left. But it's all just art, of course. We get a good look at the whole room right here. And see where they found these. It's right when you walk in. And I wouldn't be shocked if they are guarding something behind that wall. And let's be honest, we all know that we're not seeing everything that was originally down there before they found it. Things were removed. We all know this now. Should I prove it? Well, right here, we can see that there were items in here. And this is today. Could you even imagine 100 years ago, this place that we all live was probably a free-for-all. So today we get this photo. The chains are up. We have a bunch of items here all over the floor. Then flipping to this photo, it's all gone. Even the thing on the wall is changed. The other one is just removed. So we know that whatever was down here in 1839, a year before they found it, unfortunately, it is not here anymore. And let's just be honest, it's shocking that they left anything at all. If they would have just taken all of these statues out, we probably wouldn't suspect a thing. All found underground while making a road in Italy. Absolutely incredible stuff. And look where this place is located. If you were just driving past, you would have no idea that this is in there. Look at this. It honestly looks like they want it to be hidden. It's so weird. If you were walking past this place, never done any research, you would have no clue that this is inside. It's crazy. Just knowing that. Could you imagine what is underneath all these people's houses? Or at least what was. Surely there are tunnels. And I bet people go to this musical academy today and have no clue that this is right next to them. We have a bar right here to the right, and I bet none of them know what's inside the building to the left. An incredible operation worldwide to suppress our true history. I'm glad thousands of us know about this place now. Let's go to Syria. Staying with the Hypogeum topic, because this one is just insane. The Hypogeum of Yarhe, where the underground tomb was supposedly built in 108 AD. Not 107 and not 109. Can you believe this nonsense? I need everybody to understand that they are not pinning down the date of 108 AD. It's not happening. And they go on to say that this underground tomb was originally located in the Palmyra's Valley of the Tombs before being excavated and restored, destroyed. The underground tomb was then moved to Damascus in 1935 and was then moved again and placed in its National Museum. Can you even imagine what we are not being shown? This is insane. Moving things around in 1935 and later placing it somewhere else. And you can see here with the AI ChatGPT that they are influencing it. If you didn't know the truth, they are trying to change this narrative. I asked when it was found, and the AI says it was found in 1983. So I replied that I thought it was moved to Damascus in 1935, like we were told. The AI replies, "You're correct. It was indeed moved to Damascus in 1935. Here's the correct information for you." Can you believe this? Overriding the truth. Why are they so against telling us the truth? Over and over. Hiding that they moved it. Can you believe that we have to correct the AI? Very clearly, a human entered that information in there about this story. So I said, what year was it found? Because it does not want to answer this question. Finally giving us the answer after backing it into a corner and pulling its teeth. It was found in 1933. And they did not want to tell us this. Because once you know that it was found in 1933, you know that they moved it in 1935 to Damascus, just 2 years later. So finding this and then moving it 2 years later. So what else did they find in Palmyra? What was wrong with the first location? Why did it need to be moved so fast? 150 miles away. Remember, this thing was just fine for centuries. This is according to them, their narrative. So what I want to know is, why did they need to move it? The decision to move it to Damascus in 1935 was driven by the need to protect and preserve it. Can you believe this? So we are clearly not going to be told the truth here. The carvings were vulnerable due to the exposure of the elements, the temperature fluctuations, a bunch of lies, since they just told us that this thing was there from the year 108 on the dot. Moving it to Damascus in 1935 made it more accessible to scholars, historians, and archaeologists. Oh, the poor archaeologists. They can't get in their car and go see the historic site, so they just needed it moved closer to their apartment. It's embarrassing. This narrative is a joke, and this statue right here in the middle, he also got his head chopped off. Now that we know they are hiding something massive about this, now I'm going to go back to the original site and investigate what is going on there in Palmyra, Syria, because we know that something is off now. All right, this is the site today. Palmyra, Syria. You are now being exposed to the world. Let's have some fun. Palmyra, meaning the city of palm trees. No palm trees. But I do see a massive palace that has been completely destroyed. A palace from the old world, 100%. And what is this? 8 years ago, we get an article that this group right here is destroying the old world, destroying the Venice of the sands, piece by piece. Will this organization erase the memory of the extraordinary history? In 1900, a British traveler, Gertrude Bell, wrote, "I wonder if the world presents a more singular landscape. It is a mass of columns, ranged into long avenues, grouped into temples, lying broken in the sand. Beyond them is the immense Temple of Baal." More destroyed heads right here. Every single one of them are destroyed. And when I say we are just getting started, you have no idea. I wish that I could speak and we could all edit faster here and put this all into one episode, because there is so much that I can't wait to share. Clearly, we have located a site that is from the old world and was extremely important to a civilization that was here. To give this a little context, for anyone new to this research, within the Old Testament, Baal was worshipped by the Israelites. Worshipping Baal was seen as a major threat to the worship of Yahweh, the God of Israel. This text gets really deep. I won't be reading it all, but you can see a lot of it. The worship of Baal is often associated with moral corruption. The biblical authors depict Baal worship as leading the Israelites into practices that are contrary to the laws and moral expectations set by Yahweh, including rituals of these two things, with Jeremiah 19:5 stating that the Israelites are condemned for building high places to Baal and burning this as offerings. Now, let's get back to this location. What was going on here? What was going on in Syria before we all got here? What was going on at the Temple of Baal? A photo from 2009. Again, all of the faces removed over and over, everywhere in the world. In the background here, we have a structure that has been completely melted, in my opinion. So knowing what we know about this location now, let's go further. The temple was built on a tell. Do we all understand what that means? A tell is an archaeological term referring to a mound or hill that forms from centuries of human settlement over time. as people build and rebuild in the same area. Each new layer of construction builds on top of the old. When a temple is built on a tell, it means that the temple is constructed on top of this layered mound of the past civilizations. Can you even believe what we just read? The Temple of Baal is constructed on top of a previous civilization's work, a tell. There is 100% more beneath this temple, and we now know that. This temple that we just saw was most likely not used for positive things, was then converted into a Christian church in 1132. They just couldn't help it. They had to pick the place that had crazy things going on, including sacrifices and rituals. Couldn't they have picked a different place? No, they couldn't. The 1920s comes around, and they cleared the temple grounds of all of its post-classical elements. They destroyed it. Clearly something happened here in this location. Advanced technology, 100%. Advanced construction. And I have no idea whether this previous civilization that was here was a great bunch. I don't know if they were great beings with great morals, but what I do know is that we are not being told the truth about them. And we also know that they could easily construct palaces. And it was not with a hammer and chisel, and they were not riding around on horses. The previous civilization had all of the technology that we see today, and so much more. We are being given some of this technology back slowly, and we know this now. Now I'm gonna take this to Google Earth and show you this area. Look at all these columns, all the way down this road. We get the amphitheater, hammers and chisels, of course. Donkey riding cowboys of the past. No. It's like an old world city here. They have palaces all over the place, like some sort of resort or something. And they have a stage where who knows what took place right here. Then, well, just based on what we read, I think we kind of know. Then we have another destroyed structure here. This place is completely destroyed. Stone all over the place. Again, look at this road. The whole thing is filled with columns. Did any one of us learn about this place in our history classes? No? Why not? I think we all know why. Spinning the camera around so we can see it, look at this. With arches and everything. More columns over here. Another palace in the background. And then, of course, the Temple of Baal. Remember, we know that there are structures from the past right underneath this place as well. Keep that in mind. Look at the size of this temple. It's massive, measuring out to 434,893 square feet. Its perimeter is a half mile. Now I'm gonna put that into perspective and measure the Great Pyramid of Giza, the biggest one. It's basically the exact same size. The pyramid in Giza has a slightly longer perimeter of 0.56 miles. This Temple of Baal was massive. This is crazy. This site is huge. Just random columns all over the place. Look at this picture, showing that there was so much more. And then we see the Statue of Liberty right on the site. Now, when we go back and see that they removed this from this location in Syria and moved it to Damascus in 1935, we can see that this was most likely happening over and over and over in the early 1900s, removing so many things that we don't get to see today. Just like we were told when the 1920s hit, they cleared the temple grounds of its elements, taking everything of significance from this site and hiding it from all of us 100%. This is so clear now. This research shows that we are missing so much of the true story. Massive stone structures, hundreds of columns, arches towering over us while we walk through. We all got reset. Back to donkeys and wagons. Reset from stone palaces to wooden huts. no lights and freezing in the winters, going to the bathroom in your backyard. The further that we go into this research, the more we have to ask, where are we? And what are we not being told? Who is controlling this ridiculous narrative that we're all taught since day one? And why? The further that we go, the more we advance our knowledge, we see patterns. We see the flaws clearer and clearer. And once we all know the truth, we will never go back. The Temple of Baal, located in Syria, is so much more than just crumbled stone. In my opinion, it is a haunting reminder that the previous civilization had a very dark side. We showed the Temple of Baal, but did you know that right next to this site in Syria, we have a castle from the old world, located up on top of a cliff, where we all know just by looking at this and all of the research that we've done to this point, we know that this thing is so much bigger and has been completely melted and turned into sand. We know that they told us that the Temple of Baal, that is right here, right next to this castle, where I believe they were both constructed by the same group during the exact same period. We were told that the Temple of Baal was found in 32 AD. 32 AD. Not 31, not 33, but pinning it down to 32 AD. With a side note that we are correct yet again. It is inaccessible today due to being in a war zone. War zones. These zones, in my opinion, are to block the public from seeing what was there, or what still is. When the main entrance has been destroyed, a great way to destroy the true history, to just blow it up and chalk it up to a war. So 32 AD, this one is constructed 2,000 years ago. Then they wait like 1,200 years to build a castle. This is what we are being told, right next to each other, 1,200 years apart. I think this is very obvious that these structures were constructed during the exact same time period. This entire location was clearly an old world city, a palace city, and I don't believe it was thousands of years ago. I believe it was so much closer to our timeline than what we are being told, and has been mostly destroyed, making it look older than it is. With our friends over here at this group, interested in our favorite locations yet again, stating that this one is one of the most important cultural centers of the ancient world, the old world, the previous civilization. This is the Tadmer Castle, and was placed on the list of World Heritage Sites in Danger in 2013 due to an ongoing Syrian civil war. The castle was captured by the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant in 2015, then recaptured in 2016. Now remember, it was supposedly perfectly fine for centuries until our timeline comes around and it starts being captured every year and then put into dangered war zones. What kind of season does this sound like to you? Making the case stronger and stronger, making it sound like a little season to me, with the Book of Life on the way. It's all very interesting, with retreating ISIS fighters blowing up parts of the castle, including the stairway, leading to the entrance, causing extensive damage, all right in front of our faces. Yet I would bet even some of our greatest history majors have most likely never even seen this place before. All by design. This location definitely wasn't highlighted in History 101, 102, or whatever other number they want to make up. With a few more captures here in 2016, and again in 2017. Every year, recapturing this place. It's ridiculous. And even more ridiculous is that we are told that this was built by the Mamluks. And why is this ridiculous? Well, because Mamluks translates to one who is owned, or down here stating much clearer, originally the Mamluks were this word. Again, not going to say that word ever again here, since we had a major issue with it in the past. So we're going to leave that word alone, but you can see it right here. So let's read this again. The Old World Palace Castle was built 1,200 years later by a bunch of laves with an S at the front. These stories are insane. To believe that this kind of group can construct a palace castle that lasts forever is insane to believe at this point. While they were purchased property, their status was above ordinary. The people that worked for free back in the 1300s, these are the people that we are told are the master builders of the past. It's incredible. No training necessary, just going up on that cliff with no power tools, in the sand and building a palace castle 800 years ago. And it just so happens that it's right next to hundreds of columns and a temple the size of the Pyramid of Giza. All a coincidence, of course. No. So because there's a war going on here, we don't get to drop the guy down on this location and look around. Could you imagine waking up and here's the supermarket with your sports club over here and a hair salon. Then you have temples, castles, and the Tower of Elebol, all right outside your window in the morning, all dating back 2,000 years. Thanks to the experts, we know this now. Well, no, we don't. When we all show up and the tower was demolished using explosives in 2015, this is a clear attack on the true history to hide what really happened here where we all live, blocking sites off from us, calling it a war, and then bombing these places. It happens over and over. In this shot, we also see the Damascus Gate. This is Palmyra. So I'm gonna guess that this was renamed since Damascus is 134 miles away. And I could honestly look at this picture all day. I believe this picture proves that the history that we were all given is a complete lie. It proves that something happened here. An extremely advanced group was here and is now gone and is 100% being hidden from all of us, telling us that we are the most advanced group to ever be here. This lie is no longer acceptable. Clearly, there's been a civilization, and most likely civilizations, that have been here with incredible technology, and their construction proves this. It's left here all over the place for all of us to see, which is exactly why they have to blow it all up. Because it takes the mainstream narrative and it rips it right in half. It completely destroys story time for the mainstream lovers. We are exposing it all and proving that this place that we all live is so much more than what we are told. Obviously, I had to come back to this location. It's extremely significant to our research and needed to be explored further. Having columns destroyed all over the place, telling us that this is from 2,000 years ago, a site that none of us can go and see today. Regardless of which religion the historical sites worshipped, or still do, I believe that they are very important to understanding the true past of this place that we all live, and should not be destroyed today, just because we don't agree with what they were used for. This being said, there are some groups here today that may be planted to destroy the true history, and they might not agree with what I just stated. When this group, having a history of destroying ancient structures, stating that they would destroy any artifacts that they didn't agree with religiously, and proceeded to detonate a large quantity of explosives inside the temple of Balshaman, completely destroying the building in 2015. And I want to be very clear, this is a separate temple than the Temple of Baal that we've previously covered, where the temple was also destroyed. Not only did they destroy both of these temples, they also destroyed the monumental arch, the same exact arch that I said I could look at all day, because it gives it all away. That arch is gone. When it was officially destroyed in 2015, destroying structures and sites all over the world. Sites that easily prove that something is off about what we've all been told. And they say they have plans to rebuild it. Right. Yeah, you're not rebuilding that. We all know that's not going to happen.
Too many beautiful cities. I've seen those cities are so beautiful, and that, I don't know how you can ever rebuild them the way they were. It's not possible. I don't know how you can ever rebuild them the way they were. It's not possible.
When this is our civilization's replica, at this point, we shouldn't even embarrass ourselves. Saying we're going to rebuild things from the old world, it actually exposes the fact that we can't do it, or it takes so much longer. It exposes the truth. Blowing this site up using dynamite, and in 2016, very little of the arch remains standing. You are always free to think whatever you'd like. As always, I am simply speaking based on everything that we have seen throughout so many hours of research here. Now, I do believe that this was most likely the site where Baal was located. I also don't believe that this took place thousands of years ago. Like I've stated, I believe that this is why there is an obvious attempt, even to this day, to destroy it all. To prove my point, why didn't anybody go in there and destroy this place in 1650? Why not 1420, the year 1000? Well, it's because, of course, in my opinion, those years are not real, at least the way that we think about them. I believe the actual year is fabricated. I don't believe that this temple was erected 2,000 years ago. There was an advanced civilization here that constructed these things within the last few hundred years. And all of their work is here for us to see. And I do not believe that these so-called myths are so mythical after all. I think this place that we all live today is much different than we all understand, where we are all coming together and exposing the lies, showing the massive flaws in the stories. We are told that they are myths, and then see massive temples all over the place that are being destroyed over and over. Proof that what we're being told is a lie. Proof that a group of people were here that understood construction. Why hide a place from all of us if it's all just a myth? In mythological texts, Baal's dwelling is described as a magnificent palace with silver and gold, guarded like a fortress. All a myth, of course. Not anymore. The Temple of Baal was one of the most important temples in the ancient Near East and served as a focal point for religious ceremonies. Religious ceremonies, including sacrifices, just like we talked about in episode 97. All a myth, of course, with palaces all over the place, and the whole thing blown up right in front of our faces. All a myth, with text frequently describing this taking place. All dedicated to this figure. Not only do we see this figure in text from modern-day Syria, we see it written on clay tablets. We also see it in the Bible, the Old Testament, mentioning Baal worship multiple times, with references to this, with their locations right here. All just a myth, of course. Oh wait, what is this? Archaeological excavations at ancient Baal worship sites, such as Palmyra, found remnants that suggest sacrificial activity. Finding bones at the site, with multiple texts confirming this activity. Again, you are always free to think whatever you'd like, but I don't believe that these texts are from thousands of years ago. I believe our timeline is a total mess and a complete fabrication of our true history. There are certain groups that still worship certain things today. Do you think that they're just worshiping a mythical creature? You tell me. Now, we were told that they were uncovering bones at Palmyra, the exact same location that we have been investigating today. They also mention another location. Before we enter this location, we need to understand that there were texts found in this location. They found the text titled The Baal Cycle, a collection of texts. The Baal Cycle is composed of several epic poems or narrative fragments. The Baal Cycle provides indirect evidence of the types of rituals and offerings associated with Baal worship. They found all of this right here. They reflect the importance of rituals in ensuring Baal's favor and prosperity of the community. All of this within the text. Rituals included offerings which were sacrificed to appease Baal and secure his blessings. The sacrifices were performed by priests. And then we can go back to the catacombs and see what they have done. Right underneath so many churches. What have they done? What have we just found? Have they been practicing something that worships the opposite side without any of us knowing it? Using our structures that were originally meant for good. What practice has taken place worldwide? What are we seeing today? Did we just show the cause of the catacombs a ritualistic intention, just like we have shown into geometric patterns, a sacrifice right under the church's floorboards, using the priest? We are told that the sacrifices were performed by the priests. This is unbelievable. Just over 200 miles driving from the Temple of Baal, all located in Syria. We have this location where they found the tablets, the location in which they found the Baal cycle. The story. We are told that this is the location where the world got its first alphabet. And this is all documented, of course. No. With great fires taking place here as well. When they tell us the city seems to have been burnt, and the population probably diminished. Probably. Maybe. But we will never know according to the mainstream narrative. Just throwing things in there. It probably was from 32 AD. Probably. It might have been. Now they tell us that the city seems to have been burnt and the population probably diminished, but I have a feeling that they burned it down recently, just like every other city in the world. So going back to this map, we can see that there was something of significance going on here. And a side note really quick, look how you can drop the guy down all over Europe. But once you go further south into Africa and the Middle East, it's just mass amounts of land that are unavailable to our view. Thousands and thousands of miles of land that I'm sure have clues to our past, either sitting on top of or underneath the layer of sand. And so much being hidden from us. For instance, look at this. It looks like there's nothing here. Like all there is just a bunch of sand. But once you click on it, we have so much going on. Playgrounds and the rest. It's like there's a civilization there that is not what we are shown from the aerial shot. It's very odd. So let's go back to the action. We are now shown 5 main sites in this city. The fortress, the main palace, the Acropolis, another temple of Baal, and the temple of Dagon, where we all know here that there is so much under our feet that would blow our minds today. When we see that after the chance discovery by local peasants in 1929, they excavated this site, unearthing the palace, which also gave us the tablets and artifacts, the previous civilization, the old world. Finding more than 1,000 tablets in 1929, found right off the coast of modern-day Syria. Finding these tablets in 1929. It hasn't even been 100 years yet. Finding the Baal cycle. 1,000 tablets. Could you even imagine what they found? Finding the Baal cycle, including stories all about Baal. Now, what other stories are hidden below the surface? What are we not being shown? And what did they really find in 1929? Were any other stories found within those 1,000 tablets? What do you think? This place that we live is incredible. These are now places that we will all never forget. These are now stories that we will remember forever. Taking our research deeper and deeper, finding the truth all over the world, exposing that something massive happened right here where we are today, all happening within the last few hundred years. We're also exposing that the past, the old world stories, were being uncovered just 95 years ago in a location that we were told was mythical, where it doesn't seem so mythical after all. And the truth is going to be harder and harder to find the longer that we wait. Just like we see with these tablets, the site where the tablets were found has been affected by the conflict, and the exact extent of damage or loss to these specific tablets is less clear. They have removed the truth yet again. We are told that peasants found these stories just 95 years ago. 1,000 tablets is what we're told, when we know that there were probably more, and removing them from us right away, without a doubt, withholding information that would go against the mainstream story, telling us that the initial excavations revealed that they just found some pottery. Do you remember when I told you to remember the pottery? So they tell us they found some pottery. And don't forget the pottery. I believe the pottery is something that they give us so that we don't dig deeper. Don't forget this, because I'm going to show it again in future episodes. Remember the pottery. I no longer believe this to be the case. I think we all know now that they found much more than just some pottery, especially when we know that they found royal palaces, where excavations revealed the remains of grand royal palaces, large multi-story structures with elaborate decorations and extensive facilities. They found all of this. And they found temples, including the Temple of Baal, finding high priests' libraries containing a wealth of texts. The high priest's library was particularly important for its collection of religious and mythological texts, including the Baal cycle, the legend of Daniel, and the death of Baal. These are the stories that we are told about, where we all know that there were so many more. All of this found in the 1920s, with more libraries located on the Acropolis, with more texts found in these libraries. Could you even imagine the information from the past that was found, that we're all not being told about, with access to the physical artifacts, the texts, being restricted to ensure their preservation? Are we sure that this is the case? Restricting the public, impacting their accessibility to the public. It seems like an incredible excuse to me. And then making sure we all get excited about the pottery. I don't know about you, but I think I'm about done with all the pottery. I want to see the old world texts. Welcome to the Old World Research, where we expose some of the most incredible sites in the world. Sites that do not belong in our timeline. Unless, of course, you understand that there was a previous civilization here that was extremely powerful, having technology that would blow our minds. Leptus Magna, located in Coms, Libya, where a massive, extremely advanced civilization was busy constructing stone structures. Columns all over the place. A palace. And I don't believe it was thousands of years ago, like we've all been told. I believe that this took place very recently, based on everything that we've seen and everything that we know. And we all know that when they begin to tell us that the city was found in the second half, not the first half, but the second half of the 7th century BC, roughly 2,700 years ago, just pinning this date down thanks to the local bush. Like we have shown, these dates are absolutely ridiculous. They are unable to explain construction dates in the 1800s. Yet they know all about the second half of the 7th century BC, 2,700 years ago. No. Where little is known about Leptus during this time, Of course, little is known, because in my opinion, this story is fabricated. Simply put, it's story hour for adults. Adults that don't want to look into information for themselves, or just haven't done so yet. We have massive stone columns all over the place. And then we are told that we are evolving and advancing so much that we end up riding around on horses, living in sheds and wiping with our hand again. Evolving from stone and granite palaces all over the place to dirt roads, outhouses, and no electricity. And out of nowhere, the 1800s hit. And every invention that you could ever imagine just starts flying at us. Everything from the phone to the plane, the train, the car, TVs, iPads, computers, you name it. Everything. This narrative is not logical. And we know this now. The previous civilization had all of these things and so much more. And their construction that is left behind for all of us to see proves this. The narratives surrounding these sites are so ridiculous, showing that they are completely made up, because we all point out the flaws in the narrative repeatedly. These sites expose the fact that we are correct, and we are not being told the truth about our history. And there is a clear attempt worldwide to suppress who we are, what we are, and what we are all doing here. When you look at this site and look at what still stands here today, you don't need a narrative to prove anything. You can see for yourself that something is off. You can see that things have been suppressed. Information, sites, including this one today. Why was this not the location that we were all given on day one? Why not? Well, we would 100% start asking questions. We would all ask, why hasn't my town built one of these in the last 100 years? I thought we were all advancing. I thought we were evolving. I thought we were the most advanced civilization to ever live here. Yeah, it is kind of odd that that isn't every single continent in the world. Stone structures that are chiseled perfectly. It is kind of odd that we went back to donkey riding cowboys. Leaking roofs, hammers and chisels, no light bulbs, and bathing in your local pond. Just like we showed in Palmyra, Syria in previous episodes. Libya also gets a palace theater. And again, something happened here in the 1800s, the beginning of our civilization's timeline, where part of the ancient temple was taken from the site and brought from Leptus Magna to the British Museum in 1816. And this is a photo of it. And I'll let you know something. This just might be an excuse as to why there are more columns here in England. And the real stuff was just taken from the site in Libya and never shown to us. It honestly blows my mind that nobody has ever questioned this before. Why hasn't anyone ever read this and said, yeah, that is kind of odd that they were just going to all these sites within the last 200 years and never before that, all over the world, and taking their stuff and just moving it around to different places in the world, undocumented, not showing us exactly what was taken, all for research, right? No. Obviously, they're not showing us today everything that was taken, what items were found, and what items they still have. And then you have to ask, why did they need to take it away from the site? Just like we saw in Syria, where they took it to Damascus. They tell us that they needed to move it due to the rough climate. Yet, it was there for thousands of years and doing just fine, hiding our true past. And then telling us that questioning their pathetic, sketchy coded narrative is such a wild thing to do. Not anymore. This was a clear operation taking place within the last 200 years when Italians conquered Italian Libya in the 1900s. Our timeline. They dedicated huge efforts to the rediscovery of Leptus Magna in the early 1930s. Italian archaeological research was able to show again the buried remains of nearly all of the city. Buried remains. The event that wiped out the previous civilization, just like we have shown over and over. An event that melted structures, buried people, buried structures. A mud flood buried remains. A necropolis was found underneath the Roman theater. Again, there is more going on under the structure than what we can see. The land that we all stand on is not even close to what is really here. We all understand this now, with the tunnels, the catacombs, and the rest. This is incredible. And I'm just gonna blow your mind right now. I'm just gonna step away from this site for a minute and show you that the old world in this topic, this research, is just insane. A 120-mile drive up the coastline, we are given the ancient theater of Sabratha. Yet again, another old world palace theater that of course was abandoned after a fire, because the AI throws that into the narrative every single time. A nod showing us that it's not from our timeline, where Italian archaeologists rediscovered the theater in the early 1900s. Yet again, our timeline. Not the 1500s, not the 1400s, not 700, and not 1600s. It is consistently the 1900s or the 1800s when they begin to excavate the theater in 1927. It was no more than a mound of sand and masonry. Let's think about this for a second. Can you even imagine what is underneath all of that sand in Africa? It has to be mind-blowing. Oh, and here's our friends. They've been taking care of this site since 1982. So nice of them. And the place is totally fine, we are told, for centuries. And then as soon as our civilization comes around, yet again, the site goes on the list of World Heritage in danger in 2016. Of course it does, because there's a clear operation to destroy these structures and hide our true past. These sites are not in our textbooks for a reason. Seeing these locations, these sites, these structures, it opens the doors to understanding that the history that we are all given is total nonsense. We are not evolving. We are not advancing. We are as advanced as we are allowed to be. And that's the reality. Now that we have an understanding that this is not a one-off, and there's another one right up the road, we can now go back to the original site, Leptus Magna. Since it's located on the coast and has been for 2,700 years, we are told, the ruins are now vulnerable due to sea level rise. So for 3,000 years, everything is just fine. And then our civilization starts up and all of this chaos happens all over the world. Why didn't the oceans rise in 1492? Why not 980? Why not? Why is every situation happening now in our timeline within the last 200 to 300 years? Well, you tell me. Now I'll be clear. I'm not sure if the sea level eventually does switch, because we do see palace-like structures all the time underneath the water. I don't know what this place that we all live is capable of. I don't know what events take place here, like clockwork. I just don't believe that we all show up and out of nowhere, the ruins are now threatened by rising water levels, when this place has been parked beachfront with a great ocean view for 3,000 years, we are told. And in 1520, it was just fine. In 1180, it looked great. But in 1999, we're all worried now that the water's gonna rise. Now, if we go here on Google Earth, we're going to see that there are multiple stage-like structures. And then we also have the old basilica up here at the top. And this thing is absolutely incredible. This place right here, I think I could set up a TP and just look at it for the rest of my life. Wait till you see this. Look at the detailed stonework right over here to the left. And then look over here to the right. And there's something in this picture that I'll revisit later in this episode if you missed it. At this point, we know this was not done by a hammer and chisel community. Whoever built this had incredible tools and incredible training. Let's zoom in on this. Look at the detail with human-like figures. with their heads gone. Of course they are. Just so detailed. Even on the sides here, absolutely incredible. Clearly telling us a story about where they lived and what was going on here. And then this guy's head is also gone. And then he's riding around on a griffin-like animal. And if you're on the fence about the griffin here, I'll keep going. This is so clearly, worldwide, a deliberate attack on the individuals' faces. I believe this is to hide what the people actually looked like before us. I actually feel like this episode has turned into a show and tell at this point. But I feel like this site completely deserves it. I can't believe that this is a place that we can all go and see today. It does not fit in at all. And then we get this statue, where this is clearly a griffin. Hands down, no doubt about it. You even get the wings on the side. So we've seen them in every single continent now. We've seen it in Wisconsin. I believe that's episode 41. We saw it in India. We've seen it everywhere. The griffins were here. A clear connection to the old world, the previous civilization, and the flag of Tartaria. What's better than this? So we just saw that there's a griffin. Well, not just one griffin, there are two. Another one right here next to it. I am absolutely shocked that they allowed those to be seen by us today. I think we've seen enough depictions and evidence to this point, worldwide, that these griffins were here 100%. I don't think that the people of Africa were randomly depicting griffins, while at the same exact time, without cell phones, we have the same depictions over in other continents of griffins. Clearly, this animal was here and was very important. So revisiting this picture, the one I talked about earlier, you can see now what is in the middle at the top. We have the griffins. Looking over this place, going over here. Can anybody tell me what this says? Or has it been destroyed too much at this point? Or check this thing out. If you're a master translator, let me know what this says, and I'll post it in the future. With more just destroyed and chopped in half, and then set over here nicely. Like it just randomly fell like that, perfectly on top of those planks of wood. No. And then check this out. Clear depictions of angels right here at the bottom. We have now seen this depiction way too many times in too many locations for it to simply be dismissed as mythology. This is a depiction of what they knew about the world, in my opinion. We've seen angels and demons depicted underground in stone structures over in Italy while constructing a road. Adding the 1,000 years pushes us further away from the truth. And a massive reset took place, reinstalling all of us through orphan operations, great fires in every city to destroy the old world's work and restart this operation, placing us back in bonnets, parking Seabiscuit the horse out front of the market to bring home jam for supper. Again, take a look at this depiction. How many angels can you see? Am I missing any? I see 1, 2, 3, and 4 up here. Continuing up this thing. Look at this. We have a centaur, or in other words, a horse guy, with a giant baby angel riding around on a lion. So it's no wonder they didn't start this place off in History 101. And then this column looks like they just shaved every single one of those faces right off the side, all the way up. Oh, it's just from weathering. The weathering just attacks the faces, not the body and not the arms and not the legs. No. What an incredible location. A location that I'm so glad thousands of us will never forget. And like I've shown, there are multiple sites within this land layout. We also have the Temple of the Septimii, where they have this depiction where their legs look like snakes. Who the heck were these beings? And again, inside the museum, so many things clearly found at this site that would depict a very different history than what we've all been told. So why should the depictions that are found at the site in stone, marble, and granite, why should these depictions be less trusted than what somebody that was born in 1930 wrote inside of a book about this site? I believe that we have it completely backwards for far too long. Again, My personal trust goes towards the stone structures that were depicted at the site, rather than some guy that was born in 1930, writing all about it and telling me what to think. Again, insane detail with their heads all gone, completely hiding the past. Same thing here. It looks like they just took a saw and took the head right off these statues, as well as the arms in some cases, because they were most likely holding something. I was waiting for somebody to say this in the comments, but I'm just going to say it at this point. They possibly had more fingers than we do today. 2 Samuel 21:20. And there was yet a battle in Gath, where was a man of great stature, that had on every hand 6 fingers, and on every foot 6 toes. So this site is home to multiple palace stages, like we have shown. And like we have shown, it holds this massive arch, where there are angels all over it. It's just art, of course. And remember, Johnny Boy wrote all about it in 1947. He told us that it's all myths and there were no angels. There weren't actually angels. Why don't you try picking up a textbook once in a while? Angels all over this thing. You can also see that massive sections of the depiction have been removed. This whole area down here has been cleaned up nicely. Same thing up here at the top. And then again on the left. This statue's head is literally sawed off perfectly. I'm not sure how much clearer it can get. That they don't want us to see what was here before us. They don't want us to know. Hammers and chisels and Donkeys Incorporated, your stone, granite, and marble shipping company. Established in 2023 BCE. Rain, snow, or shine, that palace would get done. And before I forget, if you're interested in more information on the angels helping construct the old world, we have episode 75 and episode 91, where we go into great detail on this subject. Now, this place also holds the hunting baths. Again, this was found and cleared in 1932 to 1933. And just look at them. They look so different than what we're used to seeing from the past. They really look like they were constructed in the 1930s, not found then. If I had to take a guess, I would say that this has been restored by our civilization after they found them, at least the exterior. And then the chairman of the Department of Archaeology of Libya lets us know that the decision was taken to restore the hunting baths. So they have restored it. Now, what is this anyway? Supposedly constructed in the year 145. On the dot. I feel like at that point they definitely could have gave us a month. Why stop at 145? Tell us the day and the time. It was 11:14 a.m. in the year 145. On a sunny day, not a cloud in sight. And the hunting baths were being constructed. 145. Amazing. What a joke. Used for hygiene, relaxation, and a place for social interaction, and some business meetings in 145 AD. Just swinging some deals in the back. Some corn for some cabbage. There were some great business deals getting done in the baths. Now, let's check out the inside. All of this being buried under our feet until the early 1900s, our timeline. We have found so many things throughout the first 99 episodes that are under our feet. We have found incredible sites, locations that have been hidden for far too long and are now being shared with so many people. I just want to say thank you all again. This has been life-changing all around. I look forward to researching this topic and sharing what I'm able to find, the best way that I know how. Since starting this channel in my car, on my lunch break, I never thought that from my car we would be sitting here today. Now having a great operation, now having an entire team here, all to bring this research to life every single week. Our team here now is awesome. We're now able to find a new location or topic, gather all the information and expose it to the world so much faster because of all of you. We have added people that have so much knowledge. We have found so many clues over the first 99 episodes, patterns within the narrative, everything from fires to the catacombs, AI narratives, hiding depictions of the past, angels, tunnels, griffins, hidden maps, caves, and the rest. And we're just perfecting this research as we go along, using what we know and taking it even further, gaining more and more people that have different skill sets and adding them to the table. I know that we're just getting started. Let's grow this YouTube channel and this community. There are so many more locations that I cannot wait to share. I hope you all have a great rest of your day.